That's amazing. Okay, cool. I'd like to get started with the meeting with giving away free stuff. The free stuff is already determined, though, so those of you that are getting excited, I have stuff that needs to be given. The first one, many of you, I realize it's all of you, but many of you were part of our alliance for SC2, and I threw something up on the group me to inspire me with messages, and I'm giving away 2 items here. The first item that I'm giving away here is the French chef knife, item 1725W. And this one goes to Noam, so please give him a round of applause. And the second item here is the 1766, the Santoku knife, and I told you, Ben, on your way in that I had something for you, sir, and this is for you. So give Ben a round of applause as well. And then I also have a Gucci bag, okay? Yes. And so many of you know that we have homemaker Gucci's, okay? But we have lots of Gucci, all right? So we have ultimate roll-ups that will hold your ultimate set, and then this particular Gucci you may or may not be aware of that we have. This one holds the entertainer pack. So this is the entertain. I know this is the entertainer Gucci, and this one is actually one by a bet from Alexis and I that we had in the office. So here is your entertainer Gucci. So I want to say this. I appreciate Jake. Jake has a new haircut from his bet that he had with me, so he's looking extra beautiful for the meeting today. And then we're giving away 7 K-bar knives as well too. So I'm simply waiting for those to arrive in the pilot office. And people that were part of our alliance had gotten a chance to win those K-bar knives based on orders that were done on the last 5 days of the push period. So we'll be doing a drawing for that later. And we're either going to I'll give that to your managers, or I'll send it to you, or one way or the other, we'll figure out. So anyway, very positive things to have happen. So I want to welcome, how's everybody doing today? It's nice to see all of you. I realize we're just coming off SC2. Our new district managers were just at the new DM Summit as well. And I want to welcome everybody to our intro to the Leadership Academy. So as the division manager of the South Coast Division, this is I guess I look forward to all the events that I get a chance to run, but this is probably the one I get the most excited about, because myself and the district managers and branch managers too, they work all year to help develop themselves, to develop great people in the summer, where we work with most individuals. Most of you started this summer, although I realize not all of you did. And it's our goal to help corral and develop all of the potential talent that's within our division. And I asked all of the branches and district managers, I said, hey, bring the people to this event, to this fantastic hotel that you're excited about. So I think you should feel great about being here for whatever reason you are here. If you're here just to get information about what the Leadership Academy is and what could be next for you, this is a fantastic place to be. There's also some of you, I've already had conversations with in this room about what you want to do next. You say, Evan, I'm doing X. And you kind of know what the next step is, or the next part of your path is going to be. But either way, I just want to congratulate you all on being selected and invited to this meeting, because not everybody that starts in our division in the summertime is, naturally. Not everybody's going to show themselves to have that kind of potential leadership ability. I have a question. Has anybody in this room, before Vector, okay, especially for branch managers too and district managers, how many of you held a leadership position before you got involved with Vector and Cutco? It's like almost every single person in this room, okay? So no surprise you were invited to our big leadership event that we culminate this summer with, right? However, there are still several of you that have not had an opportunity in your life, or maybe haven't taken that step to move into a leadership position yet. And Cutco and Vector might be an opportunity for you to do that. So I want to make it clear for everybody why I'm having this meeting, but this is basically an information meeting for everybody in this room. What the Leadership Academy is, paths that you can take. I'm going to talk about a lot of different opportunities on our scale, the Vector ladder, and how to move up. But this is not a decision meeting, Okay, so just because you're in this room does not necessarily mean that you have to become an assistant manager or a branch manager or district manager. However, being in this room helps you move up that path if that's the opportunity you want to create for yourself while you guys are here. So I'm going to cover a lot of stuff today. The agenda is jam-packed. If you guys want to grab out your notes, there will be a lot of stuff to take notes on today. The first thing I want you to put down in your notes is 100% engaged. This is a short meeting today in terms of vector meeting regard. Okay, it's a short power-packed meeting, but I want you guys in this room to be 100% engaged in getting everything you possibly can while you guys are here. Okay, so there will be some time for some questions and things like that afterward during the break if you guys have questions, and afterwards when we go do our slip and slide kickball, which I'm pumped about, and I also have this level of trepidation, which I actually don't know what's going to happen at the Bay. It's going to be fun, though, I know for sure. But that's a great time to talk to the district managers. And also, there are many of you in this room that I do not have a relationship with yet. We haven't built a professional relationship yet. So make sure that you get some time with me and introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about you, because I want to know all the people that are striving for our Leadership Academy. So what I noticed is that leaders that are 100% engaged have a couple different focuses. Some of you guys were invited to my SLDM, and we talked about these as well for my sales leadership development meeting in the summertime. And one of the things that I want you all to be focused on is seeking best practices. So from the rep position to AM, branch, district, CSP, FSM, any role, there are best practices. There is a best way to do something. And people that are 100% engaged, leaders, are always looking for the best practices. What's the best way I can do it? I also would argue that there is probably a better way, or a best way, depending on who you are, on how to live life, right? We want to help people with that. When you go through the Leadership Academy, if you're selected, we don't want to help you just with how to sell knives, although that's good. That's going to help you with your life while you're here, especially if you're doing Cutco through college. But I want to help you with your life, too. We want to help you get a well-rounded individual, becoming the best version of you, which you're going to talk about a lot. We also want our leaders hungry for growth, okay? So never settling, never being satisfied. I heard on a podcast the other day the phrase of being blissfully dissatisfied, and I like that, right? So being happy with where you're at, but also blissfully dissatisfied in the sense that there's always something else that I can go to. So always hungry for growth. So you guys should always have a Cutco journal with you at all times now, at every single event, gleaning as much information as you can. And then, of course, I want to help our leaders have personal clarity, okay? Personal clarity. When you do have personal clarity, you're able to make better decisions, okay, about where you're going. Now, there are a lot of you in this room that are young and you're going to college. Some of you are going to be freshmen or sophomores. Some of you might be wrapping up college, right? Maybe you got a year left or something like that. Or you're going to go to grad school or something. But there's a lot of you in this room that might not know exactly what you want to do, okay, for the rest of your life. And that's a fine position to be in, actually, because there's a wide amount of things that you guys can go into. However, when you have personal clarity, it's going to help you make better decisions on what's going to help you in the future. So, for example, if Tommy knows that he wants to get an opportunity to run it back next summer, let's say you want to run a branch again, you prep for that, he has personal clarity, and that helps make better decisions, right? So you can say to your buddies, hey, Friday night, I'm actually going to stay in because I got 5 demos the next day, or I have TLA the next day. I need to make sure I'm prepared, make sure I'm fresh. We have COC push coming up in a couple of weeks. I want to make sure I'm able to rock the Vegas push period. So I got to say no to a couple people. And when you have personal clarity, the no's come easier. But a tough thing for a lot of people is having to say yes all the time. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but a lot of people fall into that trap where they're saying yes all the time. And there's a lot of power in knowing where you're going and having the ability to say no. So our top leaders are going to have this. So here's the objectives of this event today. If you say, oh, Evan, why do you put on this ILA, this Intro to Leadership Academy? It's very simple. First thing, I want to inform you about the TLA. There are probably quite a few of you in this room that already know what the Leadership Academy is. You've heard me talking about it. You've seen me on videos in the summertime. You've heard your manager talking about it. There's a lot of you that have already talked to me and say, Evan, during the interview, I want you to select me for your Leadership Academy. And there's some people here who might be like, what the heck is the Leadership Academy? I don't know what's involved with that. So I want to shed some light on that so you can know, if you are selected, what you would be getting yourself into. It's the Leadership Academy from September basically through April to help people learn and grow their leadership abilities. The second reason is to help educate you on future opportunities, okay? So I'm going to talk about the assistant manager position. I'm going to talk about the branch manager position. I'll talk about what it takes to be FSM or a CSP. A lot of you in the room might want to get involved with the events team, or you might want to be a DM. or you might want to be the next Dom, right? And Armando, his position is not something where he does that job for 5 years. So someone might want to get a chance, hey, Evan, how do I work with you in the pilot and run the San Diego pilot for a year and get a chance to get coached so that way you can be a strong district manager. And then I want to help cultivate our future leaders for 2019 and beyond, right? So that's for this meeting, but it's also, that's why I want the hang time at the beach and bay afterwards, just so you guys get a chance to get to know each other, because there's people from all of our different offices, from Las Vegas, from all the Inland Empire, and then all the San Diego district offices. You guys are all here right now. And so it's a great opportunity for you to get a chance to mix with the best people. So the purpose of this event also is to, as I talk about a lot, to raise your circle of influence and who you're spending time with. And you want to make sure that if you get around other groups of leaders and other top people that have higher standards, it's naturally going to raise you up too. So being a part of Leadership Academy will be a byproduct for you, just being around more top people in our division and being around top performers, okay? So there's many of you in this room that have sent me text messages. You update me on sales and things of that nature. After this event, I want to tell you guys to continue to do that. So your managers all, of course, have my number. And when you guys are making sales and positive things are happening, you're putting money into your startup, you're saving, you're making some big moves. I want to hear about those things all the time. And you guys will get text messages back with these hashtags from me all the time, right? The SoCo division in 2019. So, because I'm focused on 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, like that's where I'm thinking about where I can take the division and where we're going to go. But what we have in this room and then people that we recruit and develop in the fall is what's going to help us build into a really strong 2019 so the South Coast division can continue to grow. You guys can see my train on there as well. There's many times where you'll text me information and I don't even respond with anything except for just trains, okay? And the reason why I like this is because a lot of people struggle with momentum and motivation. Yes? Anybody been in a situation like that before? Okay. Well, I think from a rep job to AM, branch, DM, I don't care, division manager, doesn't matter what you do. Sometimes it's going to take some time to get it going. And some of you guys might feel like you don't have a lot of momentum right now. And some of you might feel like you have all of it going for you right now. But either way, as you continue to go and put energy and fuel in the train, once the train gets going at a certain speed, you guys all know it can't be stopped, right? And you put anything on the tracks and it can just smoke through it essentially. So that's the direction I want the division going, and we want to continue to stack on that with more and more leaders, so that way our division is a juggernaut, right? In the entire company. Right now we're one of the top divisions, but of course we want to be the top division, right? That's the big vision as well. And then of course most of you are probably familiar with BVOY, right? Which is best version of you. That is the point of the Leadership Academy, is to make you and help you on a track to become a better version of you and help you learn things that a lot of times you're frankly just not going to be taught in school, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I help you guys with that. I'm going to talk a lot about Cutco through college. Is anybody in this room going to be going to school for the first time? Like freshmen? Maybe freshmen. Second years? Who's going to be a second year? Okay, cool. Third years? Maybe third years? Okay. Any fourth years? Any fifth years? Senior lab? Extra lab? We're on the track. 6 years. All right. So I'll be clear, right? I want you to work in our division as long as possible, right? We want to help you get as much value out of the job as humanly possible. However, one of the ways that I think that you guys can do that is to continue to move up in the right direction to new positions that are going to challenge you at a different level, right? At a certain point, the rep position is always challenging, right? There's things that are going to challenge you at the job. But at a certain point, once you get to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, you should start to feel like, okay, I'm getting this down, right? I'm starting to get consistent at this job, and I'm really learning there. And then you're taking the next step, right? Which is AMIT or AM. And then some of you are going to want to take the leap next summer, where you want to get a chance to run a branch office and say, I want to run my own organization. And you can talk to my branch managers about the challenges of running a branch organization, right? There's a lot of growth that happens during that process. But we want to help you get a lot of value working with Cutco through college. I did. It was amazing for me. And I got this depth of experience that I talked about a little bit at SC2, but I want to help you guys get really, really well-rounded to make sure that way when you get done with school, you become a top type of recruit, okay? This is also something to put in your notes. is the M3PG experience. And the M3PG experience, the way that this works is we want to make sure we're creating the most powerful professional and personal growth experience that's out there for college students. That is what Cutco is to me. And that's why, this is why I enjoy and love doing what I'm doing and feel like being a division manager is my calling, because I really enjoy teaching young people, students, people that are trying to acquire more talent and skill and experience, and they want to do it through the Cutco vehicle. And it's great. And there's a lot of other jobs you guys could do, right? I'm not here to knock those positions, but I just believe that what we have is the best thing for you to grow your capacity, become the best version of yourself, get outside your comfort zone, the whole nine. So we want to help you guys do that. So when you see us talking about M3PG, it's focusing on those areas. And I really want to help you guys grow in 3 key areas when it comes to growth. It's personal, professional, and financial, right? We want to help you guys grow your money supply as well. So I'm going to talk about that today as well. But this is something I'm focused on for everybody in the room. And then, of course, I want to turn you into what? 5 stars. I want to turn you into 5 stars, right? I want to turn you into 5 stars. So by the time you get done at UCR, you can get in any med school you want to. They're hunting after you, Patrick, because of your experience. And you know what? What a lot of med students are doing is maybe doing things that are working in the hospital or maybe doing internship or something like that, where if you continue to work with us, of course, you're going to get great grades at UCR, I trust. Yes, of course, okay? However, having that experience that's totally different, completely unique from what the average med student recruit has, that's going to help be a conversation starter or foot in the door for you that can help get top med schools coming after you. And I mentioned that to you guys as well, that if you're really great, you want to have a lot of options, okay? So something I'd like you to put in your notes is the phrase position of choice. You'll hear me talk about it all the time, but you always want to be in a position of choice, right? So when you get done school at NAAU, all right, you want everybody coming after you, man. You want all the top employers, corporations, the top firms, whatever it is that you're going to do, you want them all hunting after you, right? That'd be good, right? You have 10, 15, 20 offers on the table, then you can do what? You can play with those a little bit, be like, hey, those other guys are giving me more money, so hey, or otherwise I'm going with them, right? You want to be in that position, right? And then when you're really good, I'm also what? I'm coming after you as well, right? If you're a real true 5-star, I'm like, yeah, I got to recruit this guy to stay in the South Coast Division, whether you're going to be a CSP or a DM or a DOM or something like that, right? So I'm thinking about that all the time. We want to help you get towards this path, right? So those of you that ran a branch office this summer, could I have you guys stand up? We're in a branch office this summertime. Tommy and Jackson, Ashley, Christina. I just want to talk about these individuals real quick. I'm really, really impressed with all of these individuals because they took on something that was different. For sure. But they took on one of the most challenging things that a college student can really do, in my opinion, in the summertime. And just selling Cutco is challenging for the summertime. You guys can all relate to that, right? There's challenges that go along with that. And then they became assistant managers, went through the academy, some of them multiple times, and then said, Evan, I'm ready to graduate to BM, right? I want to be a branch manager. And they went out this summer and they all learned a ton of things, right? Learned a ton of things. Everybody made mistakes. Course, right? They had wins and successes, but the smiles tell the story. But all of you are still alive, which I think is really important, okay? And they all went out and they ran their own business for the summertime, and they're people that are working towards this path, right? And keeping going, and your stars are going up and up and up. So that way, when you're done with school, right, you're going to have a lot of options. Whether I know it's going to be, maybe for some of you, it's going to be a DM path with us, or it's a high-level CSP path, or it's whatever's next for you. So I want to tip my hat to you guys, and those of you guys that are coming after to hang out and everything for tacos and kickball. Talk to these individuals, you know. So what do they do to get prepared? What do they do to get ready? And I think a lot of them, if they're answering honestly, like, oh my God, I would prepare way harder. I would take more notes. I would study harder. I would put in more effort, right? They would all say that. But that's why some people take on the challenge of doing it twice, right? So some people have already talked to me about doing that as well. Like, Evan, give me another opportunity because I want to go crush it the next summer as well too. So let's give them a big round of applause. You guys can And then I'd like for James and Lindsay to stand up real quick too. I want to recognize these two individuals James and Lindsay. Lindsay is the Temecula district manager, and Mr. James Talley is running the Victorville district. And these are individuals that essentially had done Cutco through college in the TLA program, and both of them ran branch offices as well, and then decided to take the Uber leap, right? After school got done and said, hey, I want to get an opportunity at being an entrepreneur and a business owner right out of college. And it's pretty special to see them take that leap. I know what it's like. You know, I opened my first office in 2008, and I know what it's like to run your business, you know, opening in May and just figuring things out. But if you guys are getting a chance to work with James and Lindsay, they're both amazing people and are our newest year-round managers. So you give them a big round of applause. That's pretty cool. Anybody else on the DM team, if I can have you guys stand up real fast, that'd be great. John Roach and Bianca and Danica and Eddie and Baker and Melissa, John Baker. Okay, these are the reason why I'm recognizing differently. They're not new district managers. Okay, so they're more seasoned, they're more veteran. And how many years have you been running a district office?
A year and a half.
Yeah.
4, 5.
Yeah. So 5 years. 5 years. Year and some months. Year and a couple months. Okay, cool. So the district managers are really the pistons of the division, right? The ones that are year-round career managers that really make the ship go. And it's awesome to see them working hard, building their businesses. And I did the DM job for 6 years before I was promoted to the position that I have now. And it's a really exciting opportunity. I'm going to talk about how DMs get paid and all that stuff today briefly, so that way you guys will be in the loop on all that information as well. And it's really exciting. It's really fun. And Danica will be wrapping up the meeting and just talking about her DM dream. And I know the South San Diego's got a lot of special stuff going on right now. And I'm going to give her the opportunity to wrap up the ILA today. So let's give the DMs a round of applause. Armando, if I can have you stand up real quick. This is Armando Figueroa. If you guys don't know Armando, you need to know Armando. Okay, so Armando is the DOM, the division office manager of the pilot office. And that is one of the most challenging positions, arguably one of the most important positions in the division, where it is a training position. It's basically a training ground where Armando is working with me every single day, and I'm mentoring him and tutoring him to help him become a strong district manager in the future, right? So the opportunity for Armando to go out and be a district manager next year, open up his own business. Armando's ran 2 branch offices, he has a lot of experience, and he's getting a chance to work with me in the pilot office. So he's charged with running the San Diego office, and it's a big, tall order. He's doing a great job, and I know we're going to have some amazing results in the fall. I'm really excited about where we're going. But Armando's definitely make sure that you guys get a chance to meet him afterwards and all that stuff around the break and ask him questions, because I know he's working hard to prepare for his office as well. So thanks for all the hard work, man. I appreciate it. Can you give him a round of applause? So I want to go through the agenda real quick so I can talk to you guys about what's going to be happening for today. Essentially, like I said, it's an info meeting, and I'm going to talk about the different positions that we have available. At the very beginning, I'm going to talk about becoming an assistant manager, and that's for most people in the room the next step for you. Okay, so it's becoming an AMIT, or if you were promoted AMIT, it's like how to become a full AM, and what does that look like, and how do I do that? And definitely take some notes during that time, and I'm going to talk about how AMs get paid and all that information. After that, Ashley Polito is going to come up and talk about her branch experience this summertime with our Yuma branch manager, and it's going to be our #1 branch manager for the summertime. And she did a phenomenal job out there, first time running our organization. And so she's going to shed a little light on that. And then during, obviously, breaks or at the event, you can ask her some questions too. And then I'll talk about how our branch managers get paid and what expenses look like and all that kind of stuff, and the preparation a little bit that goes into that for people that might pique your interest. There might be some of you that go, hey, I want to run my own business someday when I get done with school. And Cutco was a great proving ground for me to be able to learn how to do that and get that experience. And then after that, we'll do a short break. The next message that's on the agenda after the break is called Getting Your Paper Right, okay? And I'm going to be talking about some basic financial starting points for all of you guys and giving you some tips to help you make sure you're keeping track and taking good care of your money, because that's a really, really big deal. And we want to make sure that that's part of our TLA program. In fact, every single one of the Leadership Academy events that we have this year is going to have some type of financial component. You can just leave it now, it doesn't matter. So it's going to have some type of financial component to it, you guys, because I want to make sure we're helping you along that way. And for me, when I was in college, I got my degree in finance. And there was a lot of stuff when it came to personal finance that I never learned, even in school. And I learned a lot of that stuff in Becker and Cutco and how to start saving money and building wealth and those types of things. So I want to help you guys in that direction. So we're going to talk about that today, and we'll have some time likely for some questions and answers on that part as well. And then John Roach is going to be talking to you guys about how to prep for your interview with me. Okay, so there'll be many of you in the room that will have an interview with me in the next week. Okay, where we will sit down one-on-one, and you'll get a chance to interview to get into the Leadership Academy for the fall, winter, and springtime. And I know some of you are going away to school. You're going away and you're out of town in Pennsylvania, maybe, Christian, for you. There's still an opportunity to be a part of that, of course, when you're away, winter breaks and stuff like that as well. So definitely it's still part for people that are going away. But many of you in the room are local. You're staying close by in the area, and you can definitely be playing a major role in that. And John's going to talk about how to prep for your interview with me and how to show up the right way for when I do my tour. And I'm going to go around to some of the offices and stuff like that and sit down with people. Some of you will interview with me virtually, but we will go through the details of all that throughout the course of the day. I'm also going to talk about the Leadership Academy, and I gave you guys handouts already, of course, but I'm just going to run through kind of the agendas that we're going to be covering, what you're going to be learning, topics, and then the first 4 dates are already set, so you can put them in your calendar so you guys can plan for those, some Saturdays, some Tuesdays, etc. And then we'll wrap up the meeting with DMK, and then Danica will bring us home with talking about her DM dream and what she's building in her organization right now. Before we leave the hotel today, I'm going to have you guys fill out a questionnaire for me. It's just the front and back on just some basic details from you, some feedback on the event for me, and then also what your experience was like so far working with Becker this summer. And I want you guys to fill those out sincerely and seriously, please, because after this event, it's one of the things I look most forward to reading as I sit down and I read through those, and I want to know, A, where's your head at? But B, how can we make it better? How can we make it better working in the South Coast Division while you guys are part of my organization? Does that sound good? Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to talk about here in your notes, I'm going to talk about AM opportunity. I'm going to talk about anchors. I'm going to talk about the AMK program as well. So if you guys can put this down, I just want to make sure everybody's aware of what it means to be part of the division. And the TLA program is designed to help everybody get good in these areas. So the first one is true professionalism, right? I want to help you learn how to become professionals. And I'm not just talking about the way you speak and dress, although we're going to talk about that at the Leadership Academy for sure. One of the topics that we do is dress code and how to make sure you present yourself really well. But a big part of this to me is how you treat other people, okay, and how you navigate your day. Okay, how you navigate your day. And if some of you are going to go into the workforce and be professionals in the workforce, and if you can be better prepared for that because of Leadership Academy, that's beautiful. But a lot of you in this room might want to take the path that I did. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to work for myself and I have my own business. And many of you probably have blood coursing through your veins that you want to run your own business like that. Well, learning those disciplines and skill sets at a young age is really, really valuable for all of you. Explosive team building, okay? So I'm a recruiter. Your district managers are recruiters. We're trying to build the strongest organization we possibly can. And the way that we do that is with big team building, with recommending people to the job. And we're going to have opportunities to help us on campus in the fall and springtime. We do campus tables and job fairs and those types of things. The new AMITs and AMs can help out and start learning those skill sets. A lot of you in this room are going to start learning how to run interviews. Maybe sometime in the fall, maybe in the winter, maybe in the springtime, depending on what your path is, and learning how to be a recruiter and a team builder, because that's a really impressive thing for your resume as well. We'll talk about high standards of sales performance. So I asked a few of you in this room what your career sales are at, right? And I want to look on your sheets, and after this meeting, we need to move that forward. Okay, we need to move that forward several thousands of dollars, okay? I want to recognize Noam Bolton-Esther. Noam right now is the #1 new representative in sales for the summer. I believe you're at $35,000 in sales for the summer. Let's give Noam a big round of applause. Noam embodies this. Okay, he really does. Really has high standards of sales performance. And obviously won trophies at SC1 and SC2. It was really impressive to see that happening. But Noam is probably one of the hardest working new representatives we've recruited in a while in the pilot office. And you just went. You were always there. He was always going. But he joined the 5-digit club this summer. You know, they at least $10,000 this summer, and the summer's not over yet, right? There's still some more summer to be had. And that's pretty cool to have that opportunity out there that everybody in this room has that's here today. And then the last one is an aggressive pursuit of growth, okay? So I want to help you guys grow when you're here. If you're focused on growing yourself personally, professionally, financially, in an aggressive manner, you're going to be way ahead of your peers, way ahead of your peers. There's probably a lot of you that have friends that are maybe lackadaisical, right? They're not the most motivated bunch, okay? That happens. That happens, but you don't want that to be you, okay? You don't want that to be you. And if you can understand the value of doing that now, that compound growth on going after personally growing is going to pay some significant dividends, even if you're 18 years old at this event. You're just learning about this stuff for the first time. That's where I was really turned on to this stuff, and it was introduced to me, and I just never looked back. So I want to help you do that. Okay, so we want to help you guys have some light bulb moments today, okay? So I want to make sure when we go, for some of you, it'll be AM. You go, oh, that sounds really cool. That's for me. Some of you, it might be a branch manager. It might be, oh, hey, I didn't even know that the DM opportunity was there for me in the future, and I could have a career position waiting for me when I get done with college if I do the right things. Maybe it's just a light bulb moment for TLA. There are also some of you that will get invited and accepted into my leadership academy, but you won't necessarily be in a leadership position next summer just because maybe you won't be ready for that. I was an example of that when I was a new representative. I didn't become an assistant manager right away. I still worked as a representative, but I learned those skill sets in my management training and my leadership academy the entire way. All right, so I want to help you guys do. I want to help you have some moments today that really add up. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about the AM opportunity. I'll come back to this collegiate track in just a second. So in your notes, you have assistant manager position and intern position. I just want to talk about this for a second before I bring up Ashley. So a lot of you this is the next step for you. Okay, this is the next step. Raise your hand in the room if you're already an AMIT, you were promoted to AMIT, or you are an AM. Okay, I got 50%. Okay, so I got 50% of the room. You're already in this realm. Okay, if you're not in this realm yet, then this is something we want to help you work towards if it's something of interest to you, right? If you want to be a leader in that way in your office. So the assistant manager position, it's an interesting shift for representatives when they get promoted to AM, because your responsibility in the office will change. It will change dramatically in terms of what you're expected to do and what you're required to do in a new office, okay, or a veteran office for that matter. So those of you that are tracking to become assistant managers right now, some of you might just go, hey, well, I don't even know what assistant managers do, okay? So I want to make sure that everybody's aware that there are 3 phases to what assistant managers do. And the purpose of becoming an assistant manager is to gain leadership skills, to gain skills of influence, to gain skills of coaching and teaching. And many people become assistant managers because they're open to the idea of getting an opportunity to run their own branch office someday, okay? Now, if you become an assistant manager and your district manager and we promote you to an AM in the South Coast Division, that doesn't mean you have to run a branch office, clearly, right? Not everybody's going to take that path. In fact, some of you might become an assistant manager for a couple of campaigns or a summertime, and then that might be your Cutco experience. And then you might be done with school, or you're on to the next thing, but now you have what on your resume? You have some significant real leadership capacity that's there that you can talk about in the future. So the 3 phases go like this. The first phase of being an assistant manager is the number one thing an AM is expected to do is what? Sell Cutco, right? So if you ever came up to me and said, hey, Evan, am I doing a good job? What do you think I'm going to want to know about first? CPO. I want to know about CPO because CPO talks really loudly. And those of you that don't work with me in the pilot office on a regular basis, and I don't get to see you every single day, that's one of the ways that you can scream at me with the reports, right? And it doesn't have to be $5,000 in sales every single week. For most of my AMITs and AMs in the fall, what I would expect for you from a CPO capacity is somewhere between $500 to $1,000 in sales on a weekly basis. How's that sound? Is that pretty reasonable? But how many weeks do I want you to do that? Yes. Okay, I don't want like, oh, 1 week, and then I took 8 off. Like, that's not how that works, right? It's showing that it's leading by example. And what's interesting is offices that have assistant managers that are selling at a high level, those district offices always perform better. They always do because everybody is seeing those leaders selling. And if you want to be an assistant manager that has influence, you need to be selling, right? Because all the other representatives are going to come up to you in the office and they're going to want to get information from you. And you can say, hey, this is what I did. This is what I am doing. And of course, we want to be field training those people as well, okay? So CPO is a big deal. Now, for those of you that are going to be going to school in the fall, 12 units, 13 units, 16 units, whatever it's going to be, you can totally be an assistant manager in the fall part-time around school. And there are some people that are not, they don't know that. They're not aware of that right away. But depending on your district manager and your schedule and what's needed in the office, we have some assistant managers that will work in the fall and they'll be in the office a half day a week, 1 half day a week, or maybe 2 half days a week, or 1 full day they're in. And the other 6, what do? They go to school, get good grades, they sell, they do go leisure activities, all that other stuff. But they're getting that training in the fall time while they're working through the Leadership Academy. Okay, so that's really key to be able to do that. Another thing that new assistant managers are going to be doing is helping us with PRs. Okay, PRs, and that stands for what? Personal recruiting. So if you don't know that, put that in your notes. You should know that at this point. If that's a shocker for you at this meeting, well, it shouldn't be. Okay, PRs is the lifeblood of our business. It's personally recommending other people to the job. It's how we find a lot of our great, best talent. Anybody in this room a PR? You're recommended by a friend to the job? Okay, cool. So we got, I don't know, 40%, 35%, 40% of the room or something like that are PRs. You were here because a friend recommended you. That's why I'm here. My buddy told me about the job. Like, I'm glad that he did. You know, glad that he got me in for an interview. So assistant managers will help do this. They will help recruit. They will help get more people in for interviews. They'll help schedule people for interviews. They will learn that process of actually helping people come into the office. I put advertising. Okay, they will advertise as well too. So in the fall and spring is very different than the summertime. So we'll advertise on campus. We have flyers, posters. We have on-campus tables, job fairs. We have a lot of different ways that we get the word out that we're hiring in our local offices. So our assistant managers will play a role in that. So a lot of times it's work on campus and such. Assistant managers will help run phone jams. Okay, when that's helping people when they come in the office, helping them on the phones, helping people schedule appointments, helping people track demos, field training, and then over here I just put general help in the office. What general help might be is just helping second person in interview. You know, when people are coming in, might be helping with something in the office, might be helping facilitate a team meeting, setting things up, right? Just helping whatever the district manager needs to run the organization more fluidly and smoothly. Now, once you've gotten to phase 1 and you've shown your district manager and me, hey, you can do phase 1 well enough, and of course we move to phase 2. And phase 2 is when you get a chance to start being an interviewer and a recruiter. Okay, so this of course gets very fun. I can remember my very first interview I ever ran for my district manager, Blair Berkeley. I started in the San Diego district office when it was a district office at the time, and I can remember running my interview as a new assistant manager, and I know that I was more frightened running that interview than the people that were interviewing for the position, because it was my first time going through the process and sitting on that side of the desk and giving people a job or not. And that's a really cool position to be in, where you get a chance to actually decide if somebody would be a good fit for the team. And it's not in a power trip position at all, although sometimes new assistant managers will fall into that, right? Where they say, I'm the boss, you're no good, I'm gonna find somebody else better for the job, and they get into this position that we don't want you to be in, because we are an inclusive company. We want to give people a chance. A lot of times we want to give people a shot so they can get skills for life while they're here. However, this is a really fun aspect of the job. You have to do this part well first before you add on being an interviewer and a recruiter in your office. Now, assistant managers in the fall might run 1 interview in a week, right? Maybe 2, maybe 3, okay? But when they get a chance, that's the most important thing that happens in a vector office in a day, are the recruiting interviews, and making sure that they do that really well. So when you're an assistant manager and you're running interviews, though, you need to make sure that you have great skill. We're going to train you on how to run great interviews. But now, as the recruiter, your job is to attract people to the company. So when you are the recruiter, when you're the interviewer, you're actually the company. You have to think about it like that. Like when people come in, that's their impression. How you look, how you are, how you speak, how you carry yourself. You are the company. And if you do a great job, then of course, more of those people are going to be interested. More people are going to come to training, and we get a chance to work with higher quality people. Okay, and once you've satisfied this and done well, then you get a chance to run a small team. Okay, run a small team. Now, phase 3 is when, so this might be Alex someday here, yes, in the Temecula district, right? He's done this well, and he gets a chance to do phase 3. And phase 3 is where a district manager will actually have people finish training, and that district manager will not be working with them one-on-one. They will get onto an assistant manager's team. So then the assistant manager will then be a team captain. And that assistant manager is going to be responsible for everything, right? That assistant manager is going to be responsible for PDI and helping that represent through. You guys remember your first weekend on the job? Okay. Did you have any questions your first weekend on the job? You called in 10 times from the same appointment, right? How do I make a deal and all that stuff? And then some manager picked up your phone and then they were able to help you close deals and make orders and kind of coach you through the process. So an assistant manager would do that. An assistant manager also has to help people mentally, okay? Because a big part of this job is emotional, especially for a lot of people when they do the job for the very first time. They have to coach people and they have to help them see what they can do next and what's the potential for them in the business. But when you're managing your small team, you'll also get a chance to help that represent through their Fast Start contest, help get them to the team meeting, help coach them along the way. And if you're an assistant manager when you're running a small team and you can start developing those people and helping them hit what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 promotions, you can help someone, you can coach someone to a 10K Fast Start, or you can coach someone to Dirty 30, or you can coach somebody to be, a 30K shipper, right? That's pretty cool. And then you'll know that you're getting ready to become a what? Branch manager, right? So effectively what this is, if your phases 1 through 3 in the local office, the way I look at that is you're essentially kind of like running your own branch office inside that district manager's office, because you get a chance to get a chance to take on a lot of that responsibility without the risk. Okay? Because the assistant managers pay what part of the expenses? Zero. Okay? Zero. So you get to mess up on Danica's dime. Very exciting. Okay? And that's part of the deal. Okay? Danica says yes. Okay, that's good. And that's just how it goes as a district manager. And I can remember botching interviews. I can remember talking to representatives of like, oh my gosh, they quit because they talked to me, right? They just didn't go well. Like, I didn't handle it right. There's only one way to get good at being a leader, in my opinion. It's doing it. It's doing it. It's going through the process. It's working with people. But that's why we have training. That's why I have Leadership Academy. That's why we have people that want to get to become assistant managers so they can train and start to learn how to do that. So eventually they could go out and successfully lead a branch organization if they earned it and they worked hard for that opportunity. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay. So I just want to make sure it's clear for everybody here in terms of what an AM would be doing. Schedule-wise, if you're going to be promoted to an assistant manager, talk to your district manager, okay, and talk about what your schedule is, because we always work it around a school schedule, of course. And then depending on what that person is in the business, if they're brand new, we will determine on how much time they should spend in the office. But of course, the number one thing that you're supposed to do as an assistant manager is what? Sell Cutco. That's the number one thing you need to do as an AM, is sell a lot of Cutco, and then you'll be constantly moving up in our business, okay? Because CPO talks in a big way. If you want to look at your packets here, before I bring Ashley up, I just want to talk about how the assistant managers are paid, okay? Now, when you guys are working towards an AM promotion or AMIT promotion, you want to start getting a chance to intern in your office. The first thing that you guys want to do is you want to talk to your district manager after this meeting on the break, send him a text message, talk to him afterwards and say, hey, when can you promote me? What do you need to see? That's actually a better question, is what do you need to see from me to become the next assistant manager in the organization? Okay, and then your district manager can lay that out for you. What do you need to be at in career sales to become an AMIT or to become an AM? That's actually that's up to your district manager, okay? So some of you might be at $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 in sales before you're promoted, because maybe you're the right person and your district manager sees a lot of potential in you. If your office has a lot of assistant managers in it, it might be more challenging to become an AM in the office where maybe you need to be at Dirty 30 or $15K or $20,000 in sales, but you want to talk to your district manager in terms of what that's going to be. However, if you're in a new district office right now, okay, or you're in a district office that doesn't have a full 7 assistant managers on staff, then I would look at that and I would lick my chops and be like, hey, there's an opportunity for you here to get it maybe a little bit quicker than some other people. So just talk to your district manager about that. Now, there's really 2 paths that you can take in our company, and basically you can be focused on sales, right? Or you can be focused on influencing from like a management perspective, okay? So that's kind of the way that I look at it. And if you want to have unlimited flexibility and freedom and focus on income and stuff, I mean, our rep opportunity is stupendous. It's pretty amazing. And from a management perspective, the way I look at it for you guys that want to become assistant managers, it's a long play. It's a long game where you're working on skills at a young age that will pay you handsomely later on. That's the way I look at it. So for me, the way I get paid now came down to like how I was working as assistant manager when I was like 19, 20, 21-year-old young man. And I was learning those leadership skills of influence early in my career, so I could apply those now. You see what I mean? Okay. And so either way, for the assistant managers, the purpose of our AMs, though, is not for you to become an AM to make money off the office, although that does happen. If you want to make an impact and you want to influence people, you want to learn how to coach and teach, then assistant manager is a great position for you to go after, okay? So I put down some responsibilities here and pay and things of that nature. I just want to let you guys know the assistant managers get paid off of a percentage in the district office, okay? And that percentage might be anywhere from 0.25% to 0.5% to 1% or 1.5% in a local office, okay? And one of the things that I believe it says it in here, but okay, it does. You guys see at the very bottom, I'm just looking at this chart on the bottom where it says pay program, percent of new biz. You guys see that, okay? New business, just so everybody knows, is anybody that's under $30,000 in sales, okay? Anybody's under $30,000 in sales. So no one is now old biz, okay? You're now old biz. But what that means is that assistant managers working in the pilot office, okay, do no longer make any income off that. And the reason for that is because assistant managers with their position are typically not influencing in any substantial way people that are at 50K in sales, 100K in sales. Right? I have a lot of FSNs and CSPs in the pilot office. Some of them are at like $4 million in sales, like Adam Sobieski. None of my assistant managers are allowed to talk to Adam, okay? Because assistant manager might come out at like $6,000 or $10,000 in sales. Who are they going to be influencing and impacting? Brand new recruits, new people that are on the team, and that's who they're going to be working with and teaching and coaching. The district managers will be coaching and teaching the FSMs and the future CSPs and people on their events team and things of that nature, okay? So I just want to let you guys know, usually the percentage that you'll get paid off in the office is based on two things. Your time spent in the office and value that you bring, okay? Of course, right? You're going to be paid on value in this world a lot of times. So if you are an assistant manager that's in more and you're due phases 1 through 3 at a competent level, then of course that's going to require more pay for you. But if you're in a new, let's say Taylor gets promoted, you're a new assistant manager and you're in a half day a week, you might be at 0.25% or 0.5% where you're just doing that to get some experience. Now, the program in the South Coast Division is all of the assistant managers' pay that people earn will be automatically withheld, okay? It will be automatically withheld into a savings account for them for two things, okay? Either for them to run their own office someday in the future, or for when they're done working with Becker and Petco, they have a nice juicy nest egg that's sitting there waiting for them if they're no longer going to be working or they don't take the leap to become a branch manager, all right? So how do you get paid as an assistant manager? What'd you say? What'd you say? Yes, selling Cutco is how you get paid as assistant manager. And this, the way I was looked at this as an AM, was like the extra stuff on top that I got. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And over the course of a campaign, it adds up. Over the course of 2 campaigns, it adds up and adds up and adds up and adds up. And before you know it, you got a nice little chunk in there as well. So the assistant managers, I put income-wise on there for an assistant manager in a summertime. If an office is doing $200,000 in sales in new business in the summer, and an AM is at 1%, they'd be making $2,000 off the office. That would be automatically what for them? Saved and withheld, which is a nice chunk of what? It's a nice chunk of coin, right? That's a really good start for them too. And then they have that other piece of the income puzzle is making money from their personal sales, where they're making 20, 25, 30, 35% and beyond. Then they're going to be continuing to earn from that as well. Is that cool? All right. So that's how the assistant managers are paid. In the fall time, I have an example on there as well too. Like an assistant manager working a day in the office can make an extra $500, $1,000, $1,500 that will get saved into their account in addition to the sales that they're making as well too. Now, if you guys are following along on this, you'll understand that as your office sells more and you're an assistant manager, you get what? Paid more. Isn't that nice? Yes. So why the purpose also of having other assistant managers is not for AMs just to show up and be in a suit and tie and look really good, right? The assistant managers are there to affect the business in a positive way, right? Recruit, build a team, right? Help create more new business sales. And that's how you know if you're being an effective assistant manager as well. Okay, so that's what the assistant managers will do. The next page on here, I have the sales manager role. And the sales manager role is typically held for somebody who is going to be a lead assistant manager, or maybe they've ran a branch office before. They're going to return back to their district office and be a sales manager. And the sales manager is typically somebody in a district office that is looking to become a district manager later on down the road. Okay, so they'll be in more days, they'll be doing more training. What a sales manager is essentially if the DM was out for the week, the SM could step in and run everything like the DM, right? So they've been an assistant manager for a long time, they have some good game, they have some experience, they'll be paid a little bit more for that. Most of you in the room, that is not the focus right now to become an SM, it's to become an AM. However, those of you that are going to get done closer to college and you're going to be finished, some of you might want to come back for a summertime and work with Lindsay and be her SM for the summer, work with John Baker and be his SM and help run as their right-hand person. So the easiest way to look at it is being basically the lead assistant manager. They'll be paid a little bit more for that, a higher percentage, and help create a lot more sales as well too. But a lot of times that's for someone who's tracking to become a district manager, okay? So that's the AM position. Before I bring up Ashley to talk about taking the leap and her branch opportunity, I wanted to ask, does anybody have a question at all about anything that I covered regarding assistant managers? Does anybody have an AM question, AMIT, responsibilities, role, pay? Or was it pretty crystal for everybody? Or you just don't want to be the first person to ask the question of the meeting? Okay, fine. I'll accept that. Okay, cool. All right, so I want to make sure that we got a chance to go through that. So next up, I'm going to have Ashley Polito come up here in just a second. And Ashley started working with Cutco in the South San Diego office with Danica. What month did you start?
June.
In June. Okay. How did you hear about the job?
I got a letter. Well, actually, no. Flyer and graduation.
Okay, cool. All right. So you might even talk about the two. I don't know, but it's pretty cool. So she got a letter at graduation, and then lo and behold, she ran her own office this summer. So Ashley, right from the start, I know just because I talked to Danica quite a bit, and right away she was excited about you. Like she just knew, you know, like sometimes you just know from some people, and you polished up a lot. You're very impressive, and I've seen you grow a lot through the Leadership Academy. She became an AMIT, then she became an assistant manager, and then Danica and I started having conversations about like, hey, Ashley's a real BM candidate. She has an opportunity to get a chance to go out and run her own office for the summertime. And has impressed me with her work ethic, has impressed me with her attitude. And Ashley, if you guys, those of you in South San Diego know, she's just fun to be around. She's always got a smile on her face, almost to a fault. She's like always smiling. She's always having a good time. But this summer, I actually didn't know when she went out to go run her office in Yuma. I was just like, I don't know. Like sometimes I have that happen with branch managers. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to do. Like, Danica, what do you think? Like, you think she's going to kill it? Is she going to not? Is she going to do middle of the road? Like, what do you think is going to happen? And Danica was like, I think she's going to go crush it, you know. And Ashley was really impressive and built the Yuma office up to be a formidable force in the South Coast Division and the Western region. And she just did a great job and built this great team. And it's really cool to see a young leader coming up and taking the plunge to open up her own office for the summertime. So I asked Ashley to come up and talk about branching out and taking the leap. So if you guys could give her a warm round of applause.
So Evan pretty much introduced me, but for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Ashley. I'm from the South San Diego office, and I ran the Yuma branch office this summer. And I love people. I've always been that way. I love to go out to meet people ever since I was, like my mom told me, ever since I was a baby. Like I would, like in grocery stores, I would literally go up to people and like say hi to them. And if they didn't say hi back, I would just keep saying hi and stuff like that. So I've always been super bubbly. Those of you guys who know me, you guys know that I'm super energetic and like always happy and things like that. And I just love people. It's just so fun. I love to love people. As for my future, I'm going to be a CEO. And coming out of high school, I thought that I knew what it took to be, you know, to run my own business. I thought that I knew I had the work ethic and things like that, but that was not the case at all. Like when I came to Cutco, like it was not the case at all. And I soon realized that I have a lot of work to do. And to this day, after running my branch, I can proudly say that I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just a little bit better at life. And I started over a year ago, and when I started, I'd never heard of Vector or Petco or anything like that before. I actually got a flyer in graduation. Thanks, Monica. I put it aside for like 2 weeks, and then I was bored, like super bored in summer, and then I picked it up. I was like, it's time to find a job. So I took a chance. I applied. I came for the interview, and Vector began as like a different experience, and like soon, like as I was going through training, things like that, I met different people. It became more than just another chapter in my life. Like many of you, Vector was my first home. So it's a place where I could be my true self and actually shine my light with everyone that came into the office. There are memorable nights in the South San Diego office last summer. It was really cool. There's one night that I remember, or like a few, where we stayed up until like 12 a.m. I'm serious, like 12 a.m. playing board games. And I remember just like thinking, like having so much fun with like everyone that was there in the summer. Like, wow, this is like really where I want to be right now. And that's when I knew that I was truly a part of something. Within my first few months, I was getting promoted to key staff. At SC, when I got promoted to assistant manager, I was the only rep on stage, just like jumping and smiling with excitement, like literally jumping with excitement, because I finally had the official title and position to impact my team in a positive way. And being assistant manager was one of my favorite positions because I got to do all the fun stuff of running a business, and I left the rest to Danica. I just did all the fun stuff. I worked closely with one of the best managers in the region, Danica Grady. She coached me on how to do things, like in general. And I was running interviews. I learned a lot about what it takes to be a great manager. And she was the first person to challenge me as a baby rep. She would wake me up every single day at 10 a.m. to check in. And even after running my branch, she still challenges me to this day. She just makes me a better person. And Leadership Academy started becoming a part of the conversation. And I viewed Leadership Academy as being in the elite. So I made sure to show up to Evan's interview, to the Leadership Academy interview, prepared with money to add on to my savings account, dress sharp, ready for the questions. In the academy, I was able to learn advanced skills on how to life and save money, run interviews, training, and even negotiate my own office. So if you guys want to be a branch manager or if you want to be a manager in general, you need to do everything in your power to get into Leadership Academy, because you'll get all the tools that you need and you'll learn all the good stuff that you need in order to do that. Okay. So during Leadership Academy, I saved a really big chunk of money because of assistant manager pay, as well as like putting in money into my. And soon I had like a few $1,000s saved into my savings account. And to be honest with you guys, I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do with it. I didn't know if I wanted to go branch, but I prepared as if I was going to branch. I wanted to make sure that if I wanted to branch, that I had that choice and I had that I was prepared as well. So there began the most impactful event of my Petco experience. And like I was saying earlier, my favorite part of being an assistant manager was that I was able to impact my team and make a difference in a positive way. And when I came back from the Olean trip, I decided to take the leap, the leadership experience adventure of personal development. And I realized that I wanted to be a part of something greater than myself. I also wanted to be impressive in a group of impressive people. So running my branch was the hardest thing that I've had to do up until this point in my life, but it has been by far the most rewarding. You have the power to craft your own culture of people. Imagine that. Like, take a second. If you were to run your own business, what would your dream team look like? How many hearts do you want to inspire? What will your team name be? My team name was the Yuma Dragons. Cool. My team literally put like hashtag dragons on it. What will your representatives say about you? Most importantly, what will they say about your team in the summer? My team had a very close bond. I remember how we stayed late as well in the office, playing board games, just like my home office, and I realized that I was also building something really special. People wanted to be around me and in the office all the time. The best feeling in the world, though, was when your reps came up to you, like after hours, and told you how much of a positive impact you've made on their lives, and how you've changed their lives, and how much they appreciate you for coming into their lives, and tell you, quote, "You're the best boss ever." That's awesome. That made up for any challenge that I went through in the summer. That made up for, the early mornings, the late nights. So when you ranch, you literally change people's lives. For some people, this is their first home, like it was for me. And that's when I knew that I was a part of something that's much greater than myself. We ended up being #1 in the division for the summer, #2 in the region, and coached some representatives as well to 30-30, all as an 18-year-old, still 18 by the way, in college. But it was never about the money or the flashy stuff, or the trophies or anything like that. It was always about the people. So leading a branch office, it forced me to look at my life in a third-person perspective and identify my areas of growth. I was able to come out as a better version of myself. I elevated my circle of influence. I became mentally strong. I learned how to overcome fatigue, how to stay committed to the process. And Danica, now I know why it's so important to wake up before 10 a.m. Thank you. So thank you so much for keeping me on check. But think about it. There's a reason why your manager invited you to this event. They see the potential in you, and they see you as a leader in the office. So leaders, I'm talking to you guys. Use your special powers to make a difference in your office, in your team, and in your life. This job can teach you some powerful lessons that you will literally carry for the rest of your life. So when you look back at your vector experience, do you want to look back and regret and think that you could have done much more? Or will you look back and say, I'm proud of the work that I did there? And now, I'm a better version of myself. So if you guys were even remotely ever interested in the branch manager experience and the prestigious opportunity, you need to do 3 things right now. So take out your notes and write these 3 things down if you guys are interested. Number 1, get on Evan's radar. So again, CPO talks. That's the one way you get his attention. Crush your fall, finish strong, and what's better than to go back to school with another 1 to 5 grand in income. COC is close as well, so bring the heat on for push. Leave Evan with no choice but to accept you for Leadership Academy. And also, number 2, crush your interview with Evan. If you want to run a branch office, you need to prep for it. You'll learn all the skills needed to do so in Leadership Academy. So write this in stars, and bold, circle it, box it, whatever. Leadership Academy is the answer. 3, lastly, just ask your manager. Just ask. So share with them the ambitions that you have, because if you don't share them, they will never know. So text your manager right now, today, tell them right now, hey, I'm interested in this. What do I need to do, or what do you need from me in order to get to that position, okay? So I'll leave you guys with this. The choices that you guys make right now will affect you for the rest of your life. What do you want to be when you grow up? Do you want to work an 8 to 5 job and not advance ever? Or do you want to be rich? The only people who aren't successful are the people who don't challenge themselves. I learned that from Eden.
Okay.
So everyone write this down. What will I do to upgrade my life? Thank you. I wish you guys all the best of luck.
Dragons. That was horrible. You want that I love that. Ashley, well done. Hey, I don't know how it is for you guys when you see a peer of yours give a message, but I can remember being at my first ILA, right? My first invite when I was a new rep, and I saw people that were my age that were like kicking butt at life, right? And they were, or at least I saw this. I saw that there was a disparity between them and me. There was a gap. Right? I said, they got a little bit more going on than me. They got a little bit more game than I do. And you all caught that. Ashley's 18. Pretty cool. You know, she ran her own office for the summertime, and she's still hungry for a whole lot more, right? There's a lot more that's ahead in a big way. So really, really cool to see that. And I like the idea of those of you guys that do want to get a chance to do that someday. Obviously, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of effort needs to be put in, and sacrifices need to be made. But it's cool to see her develop her own culture, her own people that were totally bought into Ashley. So it wasn't just about Cutco at that point too. It was about who their leader was and the direction that she was taking them. So, and I think she speaks for all branch managers when she talks about that. So for those of you who are unaware, the LEAP stands for, L is for leadership, E is for experience, A is for adventure, and P is for personal growth, okay? This is, so the branch position is for people that want to run a business for the summertime. They'll be open, their office will be open somewhere between May through August, depending on their school schedule, when they get out. Branch managers open when they get done with their spring semester, and they will close their office down right around this time or the beginning of August, depending, when they return back to school. Okay, so I know UC students, I know we have a few UC students in the room, and the schedules are a little bit different for UC students, of course, okay, but the idea is still really, we can make it work out for anybody to get that experience. So if you go, hey, Evan, I want to become the best leader I possibly can, might be something to consider. If you want to have a wild experience that will challenge you and make you grow, that's what this is. And then adventure, right? Obviously, Ash, I don't even know if you've been to Yuma before. Had you ever been there?
I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, okay. I love that when I tell branch managers where they're going, they're like, where is that? I'm like, well, let's pull up the Google Maps and let's take a look, you know? And then there's some people that, depending on what happens, some people will branch in the division, right? They'll be up in the Vegas area. These gentlemen over here, Tommy and Jackson, were basically branching in their hometown, like right next door. And then sometimes people go on adventure where it's a little far away, or RJ was in El Centro this summer. And then there's some people that potentially might even branch in a different area, right? When I talk about adventure, like there, we have a branch in Hawaii. I think Pete Oficiar is a DM.
Yeah.
He's a DM.
Yes, he's a DM now.
He's now going to be a DM, but he was a branch in Guam, right, for the summertime, which some of you guys might not know where Guam is, right? You got to bust the Google Maps out for that, okay? So, but just if you're down for an adventure, you know, maybe you might be branching in a different area, a different division, different part of California, Oregon, Washington, somewhere else, and it's cool to know that you get a chance to go do that. And they'll basically go out to that territory, start it from scratch. They get a place to live. And just for the summer, they rent an office, which is cool. And then this is huge, right? The personal growth. So I know I can speak for all the branch managers in that way. The branch is challenging, yeah. Okay, and I made that joke about like you're still alive, right? Which is really good. But really, they run an office for 3 months. But the expansion of growth and what you guys should now see possible for yourselves in the future is why people go out and run the branch. Mostly for this reason, they go, well, no matter what the CPO number is, I want to grow. I want to get better. I want to know I can handle more. And you definitely are asked to handle a lot as a branch manager for sure, right? So if you can look in your booklet here, I want to talk about the branch responsibilities and pay very quickly. And then if you guys have some questions, I'll take those, and then we'll take a little break, okay? So if you look at the one, I think it says it's page 7, I believe, is the one I'm looking at. You got Alicia, Jake, and Jared, and RJ. Right there. Okay, very cool. All right, so, and then on the other side, the branch class, I can see Alex and Powell on there. Lindsay, I see you in the picture there too, which is cool. So basically, this is what a branch manager would do. So if you were to cast yourself into the future a year or 2 or 3 from now when you get an opportunity to do this, this is essentially what you would put on your resume. Okay, so if you look where it says responsibilities, this is what my BMs will do. Okay, at a young age, 18, 19, 20, 21, however old they are, or older, right? Summer business planning, we will walk through the entire summer and make an executable plan for them to be successful in the summer. They will implement an advertising strategy to create touches for their business and recruits to come in. Where it says receptionist management, that's actually an older one. We don't have those anymore, but occasionally our branch managers in the future might have someone that will help call PRs and schedule those people for interview potentially in the future. Fourth would be interview potential sales representatives. So my branch managers interviewed countless people for the summertime, many individuals that came through their organization that you guys had to decide, right? And at that point, it wasn't accepting for your district manager. It's like going, hey, do I want to work with this person on my team, on my squad? They had to make that choice and that decision. So they get it. Some branch managers will interview several hundred people in a summer, or some of them, depending on their territory, maybe even like 1,000 people in the summertime, 500 plus people in the summertime, depending on how many people come through. They'll run initial training seminars and advanced training. So they'll be responsible for running the seminar for new representatives, having them come to both of the first and second advanced trainings and teaching them advanced sales skills. Then they'll also PDI. They're in ongoing development of their sales staff. They'll run and plan weekly team meetings. They'll do all the office administration. They'll also do some personal sales at the end of the summertime. They'll have a big blitz for personal sales, and then, of course, managing themselves. So this is what a branch manager's resume would look like, right? Pretty impressive compared to what the average college student is doing. And even compared to being just a Cutco rep, which is a great position to have, obviously this is going to be the next level, right? So these are people that are really working towards 5-star recruits. Because could you guys imagine being done with college when you're 20 or 21 or 22 and already managing your own business? Some people will do it multiple times, right? They'll run 2 offices, or they'll run 3 offices before they get done. Okay, and if you look at the next page here, I just want to go over essentially how the pay works for our branch managers before we go to the break. So for our branch managers, people that are going to make a significant impact for people in their territory, where the branch offices are smaller territories where they will go to that are not year-round spots, okay? So they will go off to that spot, and then whatever they produce, that's how they're going to get paid for their summertime sales. Ashley also alluded to saving for her branch office, right? Through the Leadership Academy program and starting to save up her manager savings to open up her own office. So I'll talk about some money stuff right here, right now. So for our branch manager pay program, personal sales commission, before July 1st, they're making at least 30%. And if you want to make a note on here, you can write 30% plus, because if someone's making 35 or 40 or 45 or 50% commission before they run a branch, of course, they can be earning those monthly bonuses as well too. How much do you have to be in career sales to be a branch manager? How much do you have to be out of career sales to be a branch manager? For our branch managers, I would like any BMs to be at least at $25,000 in sales before they go out. So that might be something to write down. There are exceptions to the rule, and there are some people that before they run an office, I was at $160,000 before I ever ran an office, because I never took the leap in college. I wish I would have, I never did. But some people will branch quicker than others naturally, but that's kind of the target I would want to be shooting for, okay? At least $25,000 in sales. It means you have some game at the rep job, right? Why do you have to have some game at the rep job? You're going to teach people the rep job. You want to be able to teach people and say, hey, this is how I did it. This is how I had a big fast start. Or this is how I had a great summer. This is how I had a big campaign. And then here's the sweet part for all the branch managers you guys know very well, okay, is after July 1st, they get 50%. Okay, so we call that flat fitting, all right? So they get 50% of anything that they sell during times. So like Ashley just sold $10,000 for the push period, so she just made $5,000. So she doesn't need to qualify for a monthly bonus or whatever. So that's great. So our branch managers, no matter what, at the end of the summer, when they perform for SC2, can make their branch office profitable, okay, which is really, really cool for that opportunity. How long do you guys get flat 50? You get all the way through the end of September. Okay? all the way through the end of September. So enjoy your flat 50. It's very cool. 50% commission is nice. All right. Then Vector startup contribution. Right there, you guys, when people start an open office, Vector will contribute $8,500 to them opening up their office. That's pretty awesome that the company does that. So that's company money that doesn't get paid back. It's not a loan or anything like that. Cutco just invests in our branch managers to help them start their office. And basically that $8,500, what that will help them do is get all of their advertising, their office up and running, and kind of get a lift off the ground. That will essentially take care of it, essentially. And then what our branch managers are expected to do is, if you want me to take you serious as a branch manager, you need to be saving money. Okay, I will not promote you to being a BM if you can't show me you can't handle your finances well. Because if you're going to run a business, the numbers are larger, right? So we want to make sure you can be responsible with that income. So when branch managers, the saving number that we want BMs to get to is to be somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 saved personally. And what most branch managers will do is use that chunk right there to help them pay their first month's rent and security deposit, kind of get that going. And then the other $8,500 comes from the company. So essentially our branch managers need to have some skin in the what? The game. You guys know that term? If you have some skin in the game, it means you need to come to the table with something. You don't get $8,500 just for free, right, from the company. So we want to make sure that if we're going to give you that money, then you're also bringing a little bit to the table as well, too. Because this is not just doing a job for the summer. What are you doing? This is running a business. So it's not like just a light thing. It's like, I'm going to go out and run a business for the summertime, so I need to come with some capital. I need to come with some capital to start my business, okay? If you're wondering how a branch manager gets paid off representative sales, this is the breakdown for a branch manager. When a brand new representative is a trainee, which is between 0 and $1,000 in sales, a branch manager makes 25% of that CPO. Okay, so if a representative goes out and gets their first promotion their first weekend, okay, that's great. The branch manager would earn $250 from making that weekend. Now, as a representative gets promoted to sales rep, ASR, advisor, and SFSMs, what happens to their commission level there? Well, it decreases. Why is that? Well, those people require less management, typically, right? So they know what they're doing, right? Noam doesn't need to call in after every, I know you do, getting specials and all that stuff, but he knows how to make a deal at this point, right? So the income that's made off of that representative is much lower than a brand new representative that needs to call in 15 times on how to do the friends and family discount. You guys feel me on that? Okay, so they require more management, more from the manager to do that. And then second year branches, so those of you in the room that ran a branch, if you go out and work hard to become a 2X branch manager, and you also produce somebody from your branch that goes out and runs a branch office, you get 1% of their branch sales as well, okay? And then they get the flat 50 at the end of the summer. Now, branch manager financial responsibilities. This is what they would be responsible for, their office rent and office furniture. Most branch managers try to get stuff as close to free as possible. If it's free, it's for me, they know that phrasing, okay? So, because they only need stuff for 2 or 3 or 4 months at the most, so they're not building a district shop that's going to be there for years and years right from the get-go. All advertising, the company does all that Craigslist and advertising on Monster and Snag a Job and all those things and online. The company does all that posting, and the branch managers would pay for that on a weekly or monthly basis. We make flyers and posters. Some of that $8,500 that the company gives them is used towards that advertising for sending out their mailers. So some of you guys got letters in the mail. Those cost money, right? So we spend money to send that direct mail out. So branch managers would contribute to a portion of that. Literature and supplies. Fast start prizes, they pay 1/10 of those. Other prizes that they pay at 1/3. Any copying and office supplies like pens and stuff like that, basic things like internet. Base pay payouts, branch managers pay 1/4 of base pay that goes out. Okay, the company pays the other 75% of the base pay. Assistant manager commissions if they're paying those out. Business insurance, business license. They lost a sample kit, conference of champions, and then shared divisional expenses, okay, for divisional events that happen. So there's the idea is that they produce enough revenue, okay, and then they have expenses, and then the margin between those is what? The profit, okay? So that's the idea. So it's a real business. So at the end of the summertime, we also do work with a company that helps them keep their profit and loss statement, so to keep track of everything for their taxes and things like that, which is really, really great to do. And of course, for some of you guys, when you look at this, you go, well, hey, I'm a new rep, I'm at $2,000 or $3,000 in sales. Holy, this is a lot of stuff going on. Well, of course, through the academy, we do training, we do prep for all this stuff. Assistant managers do that to get ready for this, are prepared to go out and do this, and nobody goes out that's not prepared to go handle this when they go out and run their branch office. Okay, the branch managers that run their offices in the summertime, it's pretty incredible what these individuals do. It's really, really special. So what I would encourage you guys to do during the break, which we're going to take here in just a second, or at tomorrow, or excuse me, not tomorrow, like today, when we get done with this, I would encourage you guys to talk to them and, hey, what was it like? And if you were me, how would you prepare now to do that? Because a lot of people don't actually decide to run a branch office maybe until they go to Olean. So most of you in the room know that I take people to Olean in November, and it's pretty amazing. Okay, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, raise your hand if you've never been to Olean, land of milk and honey. Okay, cool. So it's pretty cool to get a chance to do that. And I'm going to be selecting, likely from this room, right, people that I'm going to take to Olean with me in November. And some people decide in Olean. I think Lindsay decided there in Olean, maybe to be a DM, or Nanny did, or James did. That's when I decided to be a DM. I went to Olean. I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, I'm in, you know. But I will tell you, though, that some of you might have that eye set to like become a branch manager next summer. And if you can make that decision earlier and get serious about it, make the sacrifices to prepare to get that opportunity to really learn and grow, you can have the edge on everybody else that decides in Olean. Okay, so not waiting until November, but deciding and saying, I'm just going to prep as if. I love how Ashley said that. She's like, I don't know if I was going to be a branch manager, but I wanted to act and prepare as if, because when the call came up from Evan to get a spot, I was ready to go. So that's why I said earlier at the beginning of the meeting, keep yourself in a position of choice, because you just never know. You might be like, I don't know if I want to run branch. Well, act and prepare as if, because you'll make more, earn more, have more experience, and you'll be a better assistant manager because of it. Or you'll be a more top rep because of it. And a lot of our top CSPs and FSMs in our company and in our division specifically ran branch offices, which is really, really cool. But that's where they got a lot of their initial growth. And I think about Matt Graves. Matt's probably going to sell $500,000–600,000 this year. Matt ran a branch office in Vegas and did really well, and learned that experience along the way, just like Brittany Livingston did, and all those other ones. So it's pretty cool to see that going on. All right, so before we take a break, I just want to ask, if you guys look at that sheet, does anybody have a question about anything AM related or branch related, money-wise on there, breakdown, what's required, how to get promoted, any of that kind of stuff when it comes to either one of those roles? Don't be shy. Maybe you got a question about AM or BM at all?
Is there a minimum amount of time that you need to branch for?
Is there a minimum amount of time that you need to branch for? In terms of like how long their office has to be open in the summertime? No. Hopefully as long as possible. Yeah. Okay, let me put it this way. The shortest somebody that would be open for the summertime might be 8, 9, 10 months, something like that, depending on their school situation and something along those lines, depending on their territory. Weeks. Yeah, that's just that. Yeah, 8, 9, 10 weeks. And then there's some people that will open in the middle of May, and they'll run all the way to the middle of August, or even close to September. And then there's some branch managers that, if they're done with school, they're done with college. By the way, just so you guys know, it's not just, you don't have to be a student, obviously, to do it, just many more. But there's some people that get done with college, they're senior, they graduate, they decide they want to run a branch office, and they just want to get that experience before they go out into the real world or whatever. But then some of them just continue and stay open and just stay open, and they're a district manager, and they get sort of converted, so to speak. So there's not necessarily a minimum time. Cool. That's a great question. Does anybody else have a question about branching, requirements, standards, what you need to do to get on track, radar, or expenses or money or anything like that? No? So I mentioned this earlier, you guys, the amount that you need to have saved before running an office is somewhere between the $3,000 to $5,000 window. More money is better if you haven't figured that out yet. So we want to make sure you get more in your savings as possible. So I'm going to talk about some strategies for that. We do that really big focus like that in the TLA. And one of the ways that you guys can add money to your savings, John will talk about, you can do it during your interview, you can do it really at any time, but that's one of the ways that you can get really loud on the radar is by saving a lot of income. All right. So I'd like to take a little break during this time. The restrooms, I believe, are out this way. Danica, is that right? This
There
way.
are bathrooms there.
And if you guys want to open that door, whatever, and go in the little area right there, we'll take like a 10-minute break, and then we'll come back, and I'm going to talk about money. do that. That should pop through soon. So all DMs, send that to your people. And then if you ran a branch this summer, if you can fill out again for me. I know you did it last year, maybe the year before that too. But I just want to get everybody who's potential TLA class in one sheet for myself.
If I have somebody here, do I send it? Or would I be able to?
Either way, they can double up.
Cool.
You can double up. And then I know that there are a handful of people that are going to be watching the recording of this. And there's going to be a few of you that have managers, or excuse me, have reps that are not here because they're away at school, but they're going to be watching the recording. They're going to need that link as well, too. Okay. So I know we have a bunch of those in the pilot office that are already away at school, but want to try to get involved for the academy. All right. So very good. At some point, make sure you guys have that filled out. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is this. Okay. So if you want to pull out your notes. I want to talk about money. Yeah, you can fill that out. Okay. So this is one of the topics that I always cover at the ILA. I always cover this topic just because when it comes to running a business, money is a big deal, and when it comes to life, money's a big deal. Okay, so I want to talk about some ideas to getting your paper in the right place and taking care of your finances that you're making. Now, all of us are in a position here as Cutco reps to get the opportunity to really increase our earnings at a high level, and everybody has an opportunity to potentially earn a lot more than they did in the summertime, even around school. Most of you will be enjoying the part-time opportunity of being at 25 or 30% commission or even more, and being a weekend warrior. There's some of you that are going to be flat-out weekend warriors in the fall and winter time because you got school Monday through Friday. But to have a job where you can go do 4 or 5 demos, sell $1,000 and make $300, Nick, is awesome. It's awesome. Okay, cool. So I want to talk about this because it's really, really important, and I don't think they teach enough about it. However, what I'm going to talk about today is kind of stuff on the surface level a little bit when it comes to money. But at every single one of the leadership academies that we're going to be doing, I'm going to be holding 8 academies, 8 events to complete my academy. And in every single event, there will be a financial piece to it. There will be some kind of component that's teaching you guys on finances and wealth building. And I want to get you started in the right direction. Okay. So I want to ask you guys a couple of things. Okay. So I'm actually looking for participation here, 100% engaged. So how do you guys view money, or what were you taught about money? Maybe sayings that you hear in the home, or whatever the case is, or like what's the mentality on? Yeah.
I was taught absolutely nothing.
Okay, so the first answer was I was taught nothing. Okay. Some of you might have never had a conversation with your folks about money, right? And some of you might be in a situation where that's just not an open dialogue. Some people just don't talk about money, where it's this topic that's not on the table ever. Right? What else? Okay, make your money work for you, right? Great thing to learn. Yeah.
Money doesn't grow on trees.
Money doesn't grow on trees. Okay, yes. Danica.
I was about to say.
Okay, cool. Your parents said that?
Yes.
Your parents all said what?
They also said that they were not ATMs.
Yes, okay, cool. I'm not an ATM. Yeah.
More money, more problem.
More money, more problem. Your parents like that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where it's good. Okay. So
I was raised by the streets.
Okay, yeah. I'm sure you were. After you, what were you taught?
I was taught to save my money, but to not do anything with it.
Oh, just save it.
Just save it, and then that's it.
Under your mattress.
And then just like.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I was taught that money will not cause happiness, but if you're broke and poor living on the street, although you're happy, you're still probably not comfortable.
Yeah, well, that's certainly true. Yeah, so a lot of people like money won't make you happy. Like that's pretty common, right? Yeah.
Personal finance learns to save 10% of your paycheck.
You learn to save 10% of your paycheck, at least. All right, that's great. Okay, cool. So we all feel different ways about it. So fill this in.
Happiness.
Money is the root of all evil. Okay, we were taught evil, right? Okay, which I don't actually think that's how that verse goes. I think it's the love of money is the root of all evil. All right. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich or wealthy people are blank. Okay, so some people say, well, here's the thing. Some of you guys have had an experience with a person that has a lot of income, but they maybe didn't treat you the right way. Or you were taught to think about them a certain way. Or those people are too flashy, or they show it off, or something like that, right? And actually, this is a big one. When I was growing up, I actually thought it was a kind of a negative thing to be wealthy, in the sense where it's like you shouldn't aspire for that because it doesn't make you a better person necessarily, okay? But what I typically have found in my experience of dealing with people, my short amount of experience I've had on this planet, is that whatever amount of money you have, it just makes you more of what you already are, okay? So a lot of times that's the case. Although you guys might run into someone that has great income, but they don't treat you right, but that's not necessarily the way it has to be. And so I don't think that you should be afraid of getting a chance to take care of yours and your own and your family, because it's just going to help you become more of what you already are. Money won't make you happy, or money won't make you successful. We're taught about that a lot. And then, of course, this one's for you, Addison, so I took it right out of your book. Okay, so more money, more problems. Yes. Now, here's the thing, though. This is true to a certain extent, but a lot of times problems we view as like a negative thing. But if you guys had so much money you didn't know where to put it, is that a positive problem to have? Yeah. Well, also like no money, no problems, right? It's also one too. Like if you have no money, then you have a lot of issues, right? Like, well, I don't have to decide where to invest. It's like you don't have. That's a decision I would want to be able to make in the future. So I want to help you. I want to kind of dispel a little bit of these things, because a lot of times the books we read, who we're influenced by, and a lot of times our coaching financially is from who? It's from our parents, right? And some of your parents in here might do exceptionally well, like very well off, do very well. And some of your parents might be on the other side. Some people might bat right down the center, right? Be middle America type of people. However, we need to learn about money, and because it's a constant study to build wealth and make sure that you're taking care of your bank account. So I just wanted to put this note down for all of you guys. Is I want to say, careful what you're taught about money. Okay, careful what you're taught about money. And I'm going to say that even for me, like I'm not a financial advisor, and I would never claim to be, and I'm not going to say that everything that I say is the way to do it. But I just want to pique your interest on the study of it and start moving yourself in the right direction to take care of the income that's going to come in, because money is pretty darn important. Okay, it really, really is. It's right up there next to air, is what I've heard said a lot of times, right? Because it's going to help you take care of a lot of other things. Now, some of you in this room might be really material motivated. Right? Like you want to have nice things, or you want to have a nice car, you want to have a nice home. Is there anything wrong with that? Nope. I don't think there is at all. However, if you were taught that there's something wrong with that, then you're going to have a problem with like earning money to do those types of things, right? It's like you were taught that it's not okay to do that. Is it okay to buy nice things and have a nice car and a nice home and also help people with money? For sure, right? In fact, I would argue that if you have more money, you can help more what? You can help more people, right? Some of you might be really have a philanthropic motivation. Well, certainly, who gives more money than other people? A lot of wealthy people do, right? Like the Bill and Gates, the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation, or whatever that fund is, right? Warren Buffett, I think, has given away like $27 billion to charity with a B. Yeah. It's like, oh, whoa, that's pretty awesome, you know? So a lot of people will look at people that have income and they'll say, well, you should be giving it to other people because you're getting so much. But a lot of times they don't actually know what they are not giving. So this is something I would take to heart. I would seek advice from people with more money than you. Does that sound like a good idea? Okay, so don't listen to people that have less money than you. But sometimes we get to doing those types of things, right? So some of you guys, even when you get to a point where you're around other people, they will project their view and their philosophies on money. Money is just paper. It's just currency. It's just a tool to get the things that we want to have later on in life. So when it comes to getting your paper right, please don't write all these down. But this is what I'm talking about today. Okay, I'm going to talk about using opportunities, educating yourself, spending less than you make, making your money multiply, living within your means, prioritizing investments. I'll touch on this a little bit, a lot more at TLA, and then increasing your ability to earn and how important that is. So we'll touch on the first one right here. So now you can put it down and you know it's a little bit easier. All right. The first one is make sure that you are all using the opportunities that are in front of you. Okay. Use your opportunities that are in front of you to earn as much as you possibly can. Okay? That doesn't mean you need to work 24/7, but you want to take full advantage of the opportunity that's staring us in the face. So I had to start here. I had to talk about how amazing what we have is. Okay? And then for branch managers, it can get to a whole nother level. For district managers, a whole nother level when it comes to income. Bless you. If you're a producer, you can make quite a bit. Okay? But everybody in this room, if you are under Dirty 30, you need to blast to Dirty 30 as soon as humanly possible and start to reap the benefits and rewards of this. The opportunity for you guys to be able to work part-time but earn full-time is stupendous. It's amazing, and you got to get there to take advantage of it. And then those of you that know your school schedule is going to be hectic, okay? And maybe you're involved in extracurriculars, got a lot of things going on where you only can work 1 day a week. That was like me in college where I had like 1 day a week where I could work with Cutco. The opportunity to go out and sell $1,000 or $2,000 and make $300, $400, $500 in a day. Where else can you do that? You know, there's not a lot of other places where you can get that opportunity to make that type of income. So really take full advantage. So if you're under $10,000 in sales, you haven't even started the job yet. You haven't even started. 10K is where it starts to get really exciting. It starts to get really fun. And then the income, utilize that opportunity. Okay, we have students that are earning $20, $30, $40, $50,000 in a year selling Cutco. Is that awesome?
Yes. Very awesome. Extraordinary.
That's like
Phenomenal.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Now, if this was you, okay, then you're basically earning what like an average American earns as a what? As a student. That's pretty cool, right? To get a chance to do that, right? And there's a lot of people actually, unfortunately, in America that make a lot less than that. Okay. Now, $50,000 as a student is what? A lot of coin. Okay, that's a lot of coin. But how many of you guys would be pumped up if you made $20,000 in a year as a student working part-time? Like, that's pretty awesome to have that opportunity. Some of you guys are going to experience debt when you get out of college because of these things called loans, which is a whole nother story which you can pick my brain about later. I have strong feelings about this, okay? But if you're going to strap a mortgage to yourself by the time you get done with college, take this seriously, because the opportunity for all of you that's real in this room is for you guys to have the ability to graduate debt-free. Whether you're an AM or BM or whatever the case is, just to max out the rep opportunity, you have to do that. Do you have to work hard? Absolutely. Absolutely you do. Are you going to have to sacrifice maybe a Friday night or a party on a Saturday or something like that? Absolutely. You might have to do a couple of those things, but the opportunity is there in front of you. And then I just put this, just recognize what you got. Recognize what you got. I want to kind of let you know this. You have something really, really, really good. Okay, you really do. And recognize that the opportunity in front of you is only as good to the extent that you use it and that you take it, right? So if you earn 30%, but you sell $0, it doesn't matter. You might as well be at 10%. So use what you have. Okay, so use your opportunities. The second thing I want to say is educate yourself. Okay, the study of money is ongoing and never ending. It's ongoing and never ending. I just sat down with my financial advisor yesterday at my house, and he was talking about stuff that was new to me. And I've been working with him for a while, and I've read a lot. I've read a lot of books on money and finances, and I've listened to a lot of stuff. And he was talking to me about all this investing strategies, and I was like, I'm gonna take notes during the message, because I'm like, I got to read about that a little bit more. I got to learn about that, and I always like the opportunity. There's something else to learn when it comes to that. So where can you educate yourself on this? Okay, there's a lot of books. I'm going to recommend a couple to you guys. There's a lot of books that you can read. Okay, has anybody in here read a book on money so far? Awesome. Some of you guys have not done that so far. There are books about it. Lots of them. There are tons of them. And so there's no excuse not to be educated on that. And most of the people that don't have any money never read the books. They never got educated. Of course, this is a great way to learn, right? There's tons of podcasts, YouTube. You can learn so much from these different areas. Skip music one time on a car ride and listen to a financial podcast or something on YouTube, something that would excite you and teach you about wealth and building that. And then, of course, you can seek mentors. Okay, so one of the ways where you're going to learn about money is in the Leadership Academy. If you get accepted, I'm going to do my best to give you what I know about income and what I've learned over the years. But I'm by no means an expert. I'm still learning about this. And there's a lot of people that can mentor and coach you along the way. So you want to seek out areas like that. Remember I said take advice from people that have more what than you. Please, okay? Make sure that you're doing that. And it's not a bad thing. You want to make sure that you're growing in that area. So I'm going to recommend a couple books here to you. The first one's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Has anybody ever read this book before? Okay. Be careful if you read this book. Be careful if you read this book. You will probably want to become an entrepreneur after you read this book. Okay? That's just what happens. He just talks about the idea that most people are working for wages. The problem for working for wages is what? What's the problem for working for wages or by the hour?
You work for money.
Somebody tells you, hey, Eric, you're worth this much. That's the way you have to really, like, your time that you spend in this area is worth X. So it's okay. It's nothing wrong with it, but there's so much more that you can get, right? And the opportunity to get paid on value is big, right? You become more valuable, you can create more income, okay? Very cool. This is the most important money book that I've read, okay? The most important money book that I read it in 2014, okay, when it came out, I think, or 13 or something like that. Tony Robbins' book, Money Master the Game, okay? Now, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, very easy read. It's written in like a story format, very good. This one is a tome, a big book, okay? It's like 700 or 800 pages, something like that. But if you can plow through it, it's totally worth the time, and it's extremely eye-opening and has a lot of great strategies. And anybody in this room, by the way, I don't care if it's your first book you read, you can digest the info. So it won't be like this crazy stuff, textbook over your head. It's very, very palatable, and you can do it. So I'd recommend that one. This one is one of the first financial books I ever read, The Wealthy Barber by David Chilton, and I read it in the laundromat when I was in college. I remember this was like my laundromat book. I got through it. It's good. Some basic investing strategies to help you with building wealth and those types of areas. The Wealthy Barber. And then the Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. Anybody ever heard of this one before? This one's super basic. Easy required reading that we do for Leadership Academy. And this is for very base level finances. Okay, which I like to, we'll start there because everybody's usually in that part when they're joining the academy, right? There's a lot of other levels to do. And not everything, I just want you guys to know, not everything that you read is going to be the best thing for you. Okay, so some stuff that you might read in his book might not apply to you, or another book it really rings true for you because everybody's got different strategies. But I want to let you guys know that whenever you guys talk to somebody when they're investing and making money and stuff like that, just be aware that whatever they're telling you that they're doing, they're really going to be fired up about what they're doing because it's what they're doing. You know, so you got to find what works for you, what your own strategy is going to be, and we'll start with some basics, okay? So I just want to share something with you guys. How many of you have heard of the rule, the Law of 72? All right, okay, cool. The Law of 72. This is just a great base level financial thing for you guys to be aware of. The way the Law of 72 works is when you guys invest money, you're hoping to make a what? Yes, you're hoping to make a return on your money, okay? They call it like rate of return, all right, ROR. I'm looking to make a certain rate. What would be a good rate to make on your money? 10%. Well, if you invested in Amazon in 1994, and then you look at today, it'd be like a 40,000% return. You'd be done. Okay. Now, you didn't do that, okay, obviously. So you weren't born, I don't know, maybe, okay. But the way that this works is a very simple, kind of rough way to do it is whatever return you're getting on your money, you can divide that number into 72, and that will be how many years it will take your money to double. Cool. So if you get a 5% return on your money, which is very conservative, it's not very like exciting, but 5% is 5%. Then every 12 years, that money will double, right? Whereas I use an example of a 10% return. So after like 7 years or so, your money's doubling. Okay, that's kind of a rough idea of it. Okay, rough idea. Now, I just want to show you guys this. One of the most powerful concepts that's out there is the idea of compound interest. Okay, compound interest. The fact that you can put money in, and how does that work? Your money makes interest, right? But that money stays in there, and then you get interest on your interest, which gets interest on your interest, which gets interest on your interest, and it can get very, very exciting. Now, the most powerful thing that all of you have working on your side right now is what? Your age. Your age, okay? You are young, and you can get a chance to start investing right now. So I use this example here. If you were to invest $10,000 as a 20-year-old, which is not crazy. That's not a crazy amount. You could do that selling Cutco this year. You could get that saved by the end of the year if you really hustle, but definitely by the end of 2019, you could do that for sure. You could tuck that aside. Okay, so say this is Nick here. He tucks that aside, and then he goes, I'm done saving money. Screw that. I'm not about that anymore. Okay? But he just lets it go. Then by the time he's 27, it's now worth what? 20,000, 34, 40,000, and it grows over time. But when it can start getting really exciting, right, by the time he retires or whatever, obviously it's kind of a late age here. I just use that example for the 2.5 mil. That would be pretty exciting, okay? And most people, though, are not in that situation because they just didn't what? So they just didn't start. They didn't start that process. So now here's the thing. You guys can save a lot more than $10,000 in a year, right? You can save a lot more than $10,000 in a lifetime. So imagine if you were to just continue that process over the course of time. Now, for some of you, you guys might need to start with what? $250 or $500. Is that an okay place to start?
Yep.
Yeah, but you need to what?
Start.
You need to start, okay? So at the end of my first summer, I learned about this stuff, and then I walked in there with my dad where my parents had their stuff, and I walked in there to talk to the guy at LPL Financial, and I wrote a check for $500, and I opened up my Roth IRA when I was 18. The rest is history, right? That money is still compounding and growing. Of course, I continue to add to that, right? So the idea is that that can help in the future, okay? So just starting saving that process right now is so key. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Just doing my Googling for this message, I was kind of trying to find like what the average American has saved, and different links have different things, but I didn't really find anything over 100. There were some things obviously at less than 50, but this is kind of like a rough estimate. I've heard like 66,000 or 70,000 that the average American has saved when they're retired. How do you guys feel about that?
Not good.
Okay, so let's say you retire when you're 60. How long would you live on 100K?
Couple months. 4 years.
Right? And then you might as well, then you got to go back to work. Have you guys been in a situation where you've seen people working, they're like, I'm going to work till the day I die?
Yep.
Or have you guys seen people, unfortunately, where they're much older, later on in their years, but they're working like a minimum wage type of job, right? Those people are just examples that they didn't start early. They didn't maybe make the right decision, start saving right away to start building up their nest egg. So it's very, very important to realize that and take advantage of starting saving right now, okay? My next concept for you is spend less than you make. How do you like that? Woo! Hey, here's how you actually save money. Spend less money than you make. What do most people do? Most people save negative in a year because they have these things that are called credit cards, right? Where they're like, oh, I'm just going to get that. I'll just pay it off later. It's a big problem that a lot of people have. So spend less than you make. All right, so that's pretty key. That's pretty easy. Rich versus poor philosophy. Okay, poor people will spend everything that they make and then some. Poor people will say, I will save whatever's left over at the end of the month. Whatever's left over. But what's left over at the end of the month? Nothing. There's nothing, right? And then what do rich people do? Wealthy people save first. They save first, 10%. Could everybody in this room save 10%? Yeah. Okay, if you're going to get a paycheck for $100, could you pull $10 out and just take 90? Like $10 ain't going to hurt you, okay? But you started the process and the habit. And a lot of people in this room, this is going well. A lot of people in this room, okay, will go through the process where you go, well, I'll start saving when I start making what? More. So here's the thing. I just want you guys to know. Saving 10%, taking $10 out of 100 is pretty easy. But if you're like, oh, well, when I make 100,000, then I'll start saving 10,000. Well, just so you know, like if you don't build that habit at a young age, it's actually a lot harder to do that, right? Because we'll start to fill our needs along the way and kind of expand our process. So I'll talk about that a little bit later too, but just make sure that you guys are being responsible with that and don't get overextended, okay? Don't get overextended. So what I recommend for you guys do is saving first always and set up auto transfers. So I'm actually gonna do this for you guys too. I'm gonna pass this withholding. Does anybody already have a withholding sheet? Tax withholding set up with Cutco? Quite a few of you guys already do. I'm gonna pass this around again. And it's optional, like I recommend it, But to have automatically have part of your paycheck saved. The most valuable thing that I ever learned when I was 18 years old was to do automatic savings, okay? Where before the paycheck came, a piece of it was already taken away, right? So if I was gonna get a paycheck for $1,000 as a rep, $100 was already saved right away. So it's really easy to do. Now, most of you in this room do not need $1,000 in a week. You take it, but you don't need it, right? You don't need $1,000. Some of you could get away with like, Evan, I need like $200 a week and I'm good. I can do all the things that I need to do. So how much could you potentially save? You could save 800, right? So you could really tuck that away easily to do that. So I would encourage you to make sure that you're doing something on an automatic, bless you, way to make sure that it's pulled out. So you guys, every single one of you, I hope has a bank. I hope to God you're putting your money somewhere and not under your mattress, okay? If you don't have one, please get one. Then, all of your banks nowadays, on your apps, you guys can set up automatic transfers. To do that and do a savings account, you can put $10 every single week that goes in one. You put $10 into another one, you put $10 into another one, and you can start creating all these buckets. It's really valuable. And so now, for my wife and I, before we get any income that comes into our household, our paycheck's getting cut a ton of different ways, right? That goes in different buckets for the next investment, for the next thing you got to fix for the house, for long-term savings, for vacation, for fun money, right? Like for Larkin's college fund and her private high school fund, for Lars's private high school fund that I want to send him to, you know what I mean? So they get cut a lot of different ways, and it's not a ton in each bucket, but they just keep adding up. And over the course of time, at the end of 6 months or a year or 2 years, you go, whoa, I got a good amount. I got a good amount saved in there, and you guys will expect the same thing. So don't be fooled by like, Evan, I can only save $5 a week. Start there. Start with $5 a week because you have $20 at the end of the month, right? And at the end of the year, you got what, $250 or something like that? It's not bad. It might be more than what you have right now. Okay, it might be more than what you have right now. So make your money multiply. Very important. You want to make sure that you don't have dead money. Okay, which if it's just sitting in a bank account, it's dead money. It's not working. It's not doing anything for you. It's not earning anything. So you want to make sure you make your money multiply. What do I mean by that? There's a lot of different ways that you guys can invest. Now, this meeting does not allow me to go deep in any of these particular areas. I just want to broach the topic for right now. And I want to encourage you guys to start saving for long-term things. Now, how many of you have ever heard of the term Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, okay, individual retirement account, okay? So the best time to start saving for your retirement is when? Now, otherwise you're going to be one of the people that's got 50K when they're retired, you know, and then that's no retirement at all. You just got to work until you die. So the idea is I want to make my money multiply. So this is a great place for you guys to start. Okay, it's a great place for you guys to start. So one of the things I'm going to do with the Leadership Academy this year is I'm going to have my guy come in and he'll give a message at one or two of the academies. And if you guys need somewhere that you want to like start tucking money away in a Roth IRA, he can help you do that. But most of you, your parents can point you in the right direction. Some of you guys have a customer that does it. They're a financial advisor. They can help you with all these different areas, but you want to start right away. Most important thing you guys need to know is that when you invest in these things, it's long-term money. Okay, it's long-term money. So if you're 18, 19 and putting that drops in that bucket, you're not supposed to really touch that till you're 59 and a half. So you're saving for your longer-term self. There's some ways that you can get around that. But for the most part, you want to make sure you're saving for long-term retirement. The difference between these two things essentially is taxes. Okay, is taxes. So if you're putting your money in a Roth IRA, your money will grow tax-free. It's a beautiful thing because we pay a lot of taxes. Okay, and so when you take that money out when you retire, you get the money tax-free. Okay, but when you do a traditional IRA, you can actually take a tax deduction, but the money grows taxed. Okay, so more details at the Leadership Academy, but just some basic levels on the difference. Okay, another great place for you guys to invest is in mutual funds. Anybody heard of mutual fund before? It's basically a collection of a pool of money that's professionally managed and it's diversified into many different areas and sectors, okay? So mutual funds are a great safe place to put that. There's different levels of aggressiveness where you can put it in. Financial advisor can help you guys with all those types of things. Vector actually has a program that you guys can save your bonuses through. It's pretty cool. It's our Smith-Barney program, and as you start to earn monthly bonuses, we can point you in the right direction. You want to start saving percentages of your bonus checks every single month. It's pretty cool to have that opportunity. So that's a great place to do it. Okay, another place you can invest is in stocks. Okay, so can you just buy a stock? No. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Is it a good idea to buy just one stock? No. Depends on your philosophy, right? So my My Tesla stock right now has got me puckering, okay? Or I'm like, because it's going like this right now, because Elon Musk is a maniac, all right? But I don't know. But the way I would do this part is if you guys had some extra, like you had some base levels taken care of, and then you had some like shot money that you were going to, I'll take a shot at something like that. I want to invest in the next Amazon. I certainly wouldn't put my entire portfolio on one stock. That's what we call gambling. Very good. We call it mistake. We call it gambling. Right now, if it pays off, you look like a genius, right? You look like a genius. But most of the time, it's not. But the idea is, I'd be careful. Everybody's always got a hot stock tip. Oh, you need to put your money in this. So just start with the basic stuff first, and then after you have extra to play around and throw in. That'd be my tip for you. I put risk aversion, right? Like how risk averse are you? So if you really like to see it go like this a lot, then you can go into individual stocks. But basically, you want to be in this range here. Okay, and then real property, right? It's another area where you can invest money, right? Many of you in here probably have interest in doing that today, like owning a property, renting out properties, owning multifamily units, apartment complexes, those type of things. Maybe you want to own a hotel, right? They get paid off that every single. That's a way to produce income, okay? But I want to make my money multiply. If it just sits in your savings account, it doesn't really do anything. Most banks aren't paying a big rate or anything like that right now. So I would get that in places where you can make your money multiply. I like this quote from Warren Buffett, or at least Google says he says it. I'm assuming that he did. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work until you die. Okay. So I like the idea that when I'm investing for my family, that money it's just always going to work, right? So I don't have to be, because someday I don't want to work. I don't be done with it. Okay? So I want to be able to have money multiply and multiply and multiply for me and my family so I can take care of it, right? So that's why I want to make sure that I'm working as hard as possible now to increase my income earning potential and save as much as possible, right? Okay, cool. Next one's living within your means, okay? Living within your means. Okay, live like a college student as long as you possibly can. As long as you possibly can, okay? Sometimes you see people that get a little bit of money and they change. You've noticed? A little bit of money, they change. They buy certain things. They get cars. They do all these other things. They put, like I had a buddy who was super into cars when he was in high school. He never had any money, but he always had all the great stuff on his car, but he had nothing saved, nothing to show for it. And actually, what's unfortunate is that trend has continued for him now. Right? He's still doing that same kind of stuff right now. It doesn't have anything saved because he never built the what? The habit, the discipline to start saving. So always live within your means. There's something called the law of wants. Essentially is that as you guys earn more income, you'll notice that you'll start wanting more things. It's a phenomenon. Oh, I'm earning more. Well, I can buy X. Just live like college as long as possible. I always like to share, when I was in new DM, my reps always used to give me a hard time. John Roach, when if you came up to my training seminar, you'd be like, I don't want to work for this guy. He's broke as a joke. Like I had 2 suits. Literally 2 suits. I just rotated them. Like one day was a black day, one day was a gray day. Maybe I had a blue one eventually. And when I was like springing for that suit. And then I drove this old beat up Honda Civic, this TOS. And at one point I pulled up the office and both my bumpers were missing. And like if you came up to like, that's my DM. You know what I mean? Now we have this cool BMW program. It's pretty awesome. I think it's cool. But like if you came up when I was a new DM, but I just didn't like the hourly show because I was living like a college student when I was a DM, so I was able to save a lot more income to take care of that. Where it's like you can't show somebody your bank account; that's just wrong to do. But it's like, well, your car sucks. I go, well, look at my. You can't do that, right? But a lot of people put on the watch, the suit, the car, that kind of stuff, and it's like that doesn't tell the whole story. But the idea to be able to save a lot and live below my means and living within my means was really, really good. So I would encourage you guys that what I teach for the academy for up and coming assistant managers, like if something's over like $100, you probably want to consider it before you buy it. Like really consider it before you get it. For a branch manager, maybe district manager, I said like a grant, something $1,000 or $5,000. You might want to really consider it before you buy it, just to make sure it's the right thing for you. But making sure you're always living within your means is a big one. And I'll encourage you guys to protect your credit, okay? Now some of you go, well, how do I get credit, Evan? We'll talk about it. It's a topic out in the academy. But the credit will follow you. It will follow you. Okay, so if you make poor decisions with money, your credit rating goes what? Down. Okay, if you make good decisions with money, your credit goes up. Now, it's very valuable to have good credit. I like this quote that I like to share from Adam Stock. It says, ruining your credit is about as impactful as having an unexpected baby while in college. I'll show you an example of that, okay? Now, most of you got a baby right now. It would not be awesome. Okay, even though it's a little bundle of joy or whatever the case is, you might be like, that's not my plan right now. I would encourage you to have kids when it's designed to plan if you can. It's a good idea. But you don't want to ruin your credit. So how do you guys make sure basic level, pay your bills? There you go. Pay your bills, all right? Now, some of you, if you have student loans, you're making those on regular payments, maybe you got a card, you're making those regular payments, it's going to help you increase your credit. Well, why do you want to have good credit? Because institutions that loan money will give you better rates on your money. They will charge you lower and less interest on that money to borrow from them, which will save you a lot of money. Okay, so here's an example. Okay, so someday you'll buy a car, a $40,000 car. Okay, all right, now if you buy a $40,000 car and you put down a $4,000 down payment on a 5-year note, 5-year loan. Okay, you're gonna borrow $36,000. Okay, here's something I want you guys to see. If you've got a 3% interest rate on that $36,000, okay, over the 5-year note, you're going to pay $33.82 to that financial institution. Is that great? Well, 3% is really good, right? But who are you giving that money to? You're giving it to the person that let you borrow the money. So it's always good to be a person that can let people borrow money, right? If you're charging an interest rate, right? Making money work for you, right? Very positive. However, what if you had a 7% interest rate because your credit sucks? How much do you pay now? Is your car still $40,000? Do you still put down $4,000? Is it still a 5-year note? Absolutely. But that difference in interest, that's a lot of money. How much coin is that? That's $5,000 extra that you just gave them for borrowing their money because you didn't have as good a credit. Okay. Here's another example. Some of you guys want to buy a house someday? Okay. Let's say you buy a $500,000 home. You put down $100,000 on a 30-year fixed rate. What if you have 4% interest on your home? Which I don't know what's going to happen with rates. Okay. But let's say you get 4% interest. How much interest are you going to pay for that house? Hey, by the way, just so you guys know, this is the house price, right? But this is also what they pay on top if they, just you know, so how much was the house? $7.5. It's like $800,000. Just so you know, because they don't, you know, factor in the interest that's being paid too. However, what if your credit was just slightly poorer and the bank said, okay, I'm going to give you 4% interest, 4.5% interest, excuse me. What if you were just a little bit worse with your money? What's the difference between 4% and 5%?
Almost $100,000.
Is it a good idea to protect your credit? Yeah. No doubt about it. We'll talk about it at the account for sure. Okay. So people that have bad credit, I mean, it's tough. They're going to pay a lot more. It's going to cost them a lot more income. So they say kids are expensive, right? Yeah. So is poor credit. All right. Last couple ideas here is I want to give you some ideas on prioritizing your investments. Okay. So what I would recommend for all of you in this room, since you're going to get exposed to money, like some of you, it's your first job or whatever. My first investment strategy that I would give you guys is just building your what? Your emergency fund. Okay, we call this your O Sugar fund. You understand? Okay, O Sugar, something came up, and most of you, your O Sugar fund is your parents. Okay, but at a certain point, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. But I will tell you that for most of you in the room, $1,000 makes most problems go away. Right? You got to fix your car, you got to pay a bill that came out late, something like that. $1,000 is your emergency fund, and you only use it if there is a what? Emergency. It's not like, oh, just in case, Disneyland is coming up, you know, I'm going to go Six Flags. Like, it's just in case. If you guys had $1,000 in emergency fund, some of you in this room would be able to breathe a lot easier. Oh, I got $1,000 saved. That's a good first bucket to put it in. Second thing is I would save for the future. So once you got that first $1,000 saved, then I would recommend going open up your Roth IRA and start saving for your retirement. You want to take care of your 65-year-old self now. Please do. You will thank, trust me, you'll thank yourself for that. Like, oh, that ILA, way back in the day. Okay? Start that process now because time is on your side because you get a chance to take advantage of compounding at a much higher level. Okay, save for taxes. Ooh. So fun. So fun. Yeah. Now, just so you guys know, taxes will more than likely, for most of you in the room, be the largest erosion of your wealth in your life. Is taxes. Okay? So you want to make sure you guys save for those. And then, of course, what's cool about being an entrepreneur and owning your own business is you can play a tax team with write-offs and stuff like that too, which employees don't get. Okay? They don't get those types of things. So saving for taxes. How much do you guys want to save for taxes while you're working here as a rep? 10%. 10%. Okay? I'll take questions with you. And then my fourth bucket, I would start saving for your first property. Does anybody here want to own a home someday?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Start the process. Start saving for your first property. Now, some of you guys might want a house to live in, some of you guys might want a house to rent. rent out, and that's another great strategy, okay? But some of you might want to just a place to call your own, right? Your own house. Cool. That's great. So those are great, easy buckets. And then down the way, like E, F, and D would be other things, right? You want to put some extra mutual funds. You want to start getting into the market. You want to start buying Bitcoin. You want to start buying stocks. You want to start doing some other stuff like that to get a little bit more diversified or fancy. I would do that after these areas have been taken care of first. Certainly my first investment with this would not be buying stuff because I hope it's going to just make me a little bit of income. I want to have a baseline first, okay? So prioritize your investments for sure. And the last thing I'll talk about is increasing your ability to earn. And I'll take a few questions and then we'll move on, okay? So increase your ability to earn, to learn, excuse me, is self-education. So this meeting is the start. TLA, we're going to talk a lot more about it, of course, but this is just the start of the process. So I would encourage you guys to seek out these areas. So if you guys were just thinking about increasing your knowledge base, there's a lot of, I've pointed you in a couple directions, and there's a lot of things that's out there for you to do. Okay, advance here, for sure. Get the next promotion. So you're at 2K, get to 3. That's a pay raise for you. You can make 100% more than the first day you started. Why would you not go get a pay raise, right? So go do that. Go get to dirty 30. Go enjoy 35%, 40%, 45%, flat 50, right? Go enjoy that. Hey, by the way, take advantage of that in a full way, okay? And then avoid this syndrome. Okay, grass is always greener. I've always learned the grass is green where you water it, right? So if you're watering your cocoa grass here, obviously all of you have a lot more income that's staring you in the face that you can earn and that you can make, all right? So I talked about this, using your opportunities that you have here, educate yourself, spend less than you make your money multiply, you want to start getting that working for you. Living within your means, I talk about living like a college student as long as humanly possible, okay, not having flashy stuff. Prioritize your investments, and then increasing your ability to learn, okay, so that way you're going to be knowledgeable because the money game, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, all right? So I'm going to pass this around. I got a few minutes for questions. If anybody has a question on something or direction about anything money related, I can answer. I'm going to pass this around for you guys too. It says 10, 15, 20, or 25%. You can put your full name and your rep number. If you already have one set up right now, a tax withholding account, and you put it on here, you can adjust it. Like if the 10%, you put 15%, I'll send it to Olean, and then they'll start saving your paycheck percentage. You guys can always change this with your district manager whenever you want to. We have COC push coming up on August 28th. And you want to go big, you can ramp it up. Say, I want to save a lot more. And then on a non-push period, I want to go back down to 15% or 10%. But what I'd recommend for you guys is doing at least 10% because you want to save for taxes for sure. So if you don't set that up, we'll set it up for you. But if you guys want to save a little more, go 15%, 20%, 25%. What's the most percent of your paycheck you can save from a Cutco paycheck? 50%. Okay, you can save 50% of your paychecks too, and it's all your money. It just goes into a savings account with Cutco, so it's forced savings. Okay, it's very, very positive. All right, so I'm going to talk about the academy, then I'll bring you up in a second, bro. So if anybody has any money questions, I can answer those for you, or to go a little deeper on something. Yeah.
How would we access that account? Can we put?
You just talk to me.
And then can we put money like, for example, I didn't start with this holding until the divisional meeting, but I know I earned money before that. Can I put money that corresponds to those week's paychecks into the savings account?
Yeah, you can definitely add. So if you guys want to add into your savings account, you can. So Leilani Turla, amazing Leilani Turla, who's a branch manager candidate for the summer of 2019, she just Venmoed me $600 before the meeting, and then I'll put that into her Vector account. So you can write a check to Vector and you can give it to your district manager. They can put it into that account if you want to add more in there. So there's a couple different savings accounts that you guys can do with that. You guys have a money question? Yeah, Anthony.
In regards to that savings account, does it build interest over the years, or is it just?
It does not. It's just a placeholder. Good question. Yeah. But what I found for a lot of people, it's just good to have it in there because it's for savings, which usually, for some of you guys, maybe when you get money in your hands, you'll notice that it goes away. You've experienced this before? So just like, and by the way, to get that money, you guys have to get it through me. It has to get approved to get it released, which I'm okay to release it. It's your money. But having that extra step is really helpful too, where it's like, I know I got to get it out for something. Maybe I can find another way to pay for what I need. Yeah, but it's always your money to get it. Yeah.
We were talking about interest. Does the Roth and traditional IRAs have the interest rates?
Yeah. So the Roth IRAs, just to be clear, you guys, the Roth are the traditional IRAs, or if you do an individual IRA or 401k or whatever your people have for retirement, that's basically a vehicle. It's just a term. And inside that Roth, you can have many different types of investments. So you can have stocks, you can have mutual funds, you can have all these other things that you can buy into. And those individual securities that you purchase, or if they're buying gold or bonds or whatever the case is, those will spit off a return. Make sense? Okay, so basically it's just a ship, and then they're putting those investments inside that, and a financial advisor or a fiduciary can help you point you in the right direction, for sure. Yeah, cool. Who else has a question about anything that I went over today, money-wise? Yeah, please.
Just another. Why would we choose to let it be withheld through Cutco's review instead of doing an IRA if you can build interest through that?
Different buckets. And an IRA is, remember, it's long term. So if you put in that IRA, you cannot touch it until you are 59 and a half. So just think about Anthony, different buckets. Like I want to get that bucket going, but I want my tax bucket. And I want my emergency fund bucket. And I want my fund money bucket. And I want, you can have a couple of different types of savings for the, so with Cutco at a minimum, hopefully I think it's getting passed around. I don't know if those blue things are getting passed around. That just at least for taxes. But if you guys want to, we call it a tax holding account, but if you want to be more aggressive, 15, 20, 25% of your paycheck or more, it's just forced savings. And then you can choose to do with it if you want. Cool. Any other questions about that? All right, awesome. So that's just the start of it. But like I said, we're going to spend a lot of time on those areas. And it's something I really enjoy teaching. I think it's really fun to do. And I enjoyed getting on that path when I was 18. And I want to help you guys get on that path too while you're working with us and if you get accepted into the academy. Okay. So I want to give you guys this. You should have this on your table. Okay. The Leadership Academy. I just want to go over this briefly, and then I'm going to have John come up, and John's going to talk about how to interview with me. Then I'll cover DMK briefly, and then Danica's going to wrap it up. And then I'm going to give you guys questionnaires, and so we're kind of in the home stretch here. And then if you have other questions, like I said, I've said repeatedly, you can ask those later on, okay? But I want to make sure that everybody knows the Academy's agenda and what's going to be happening. So I mentioned here on the very beginning of this sheet, I talked about skills for life training. So if you go, well, hey, is TLA for me? Well, if you want to be a top rep, TLA is for you. If you want to be an AM, it's for you. If you want to be branch, great. If you want to be an events team, it's for you. You want to be a CSP, it's for you. It doesn't matter. It's just like if you want to advance, TLA opens every door that's possible because it's the best way that you can get and stay on my radar because I'll get to work with you a lot more. You follow? And I'll know what your trajectory is, what your path is, and I can help you realize those things while you're in my division. Okay, so it says what it takes to be a South Coast manager, and being an AM or a branch manager or a district manager is making sure you attend the academies. When I go over these academy dates, if any of you just know looking at your calendar for the fall or the winter or the springtime, and you know there's a conflict, when should you let me know about it? Like as soon as you can. So at a certain point, you all need to get past the point of letting somebody know the day before, or worse, the day of. Right? So for something that's in your calendar, you want to make sure that that's cemented. If that's something you plan on attending, you want to make sure that you honor those time commitments because life is going to ask that. It's going to expect that. So emailing me like right before a TLA, like, hey, Evan, I can't make it for the November 1 or whatever, your stock is going to go down. You understand what I mean? Because I'm just going to go, hey, Taylor, let me know about that 2 months ago. Now, if there's an extenuating circumstances, like some family scenario happens or it just gets, I understand life hits you in the face, that's totally fine. That I can understand that happening, but you just don't want that to be the regular thing for you, okay? So I talk about event attendance. Olean trip is going to be an invite only in November. If you want me to take you to Olean, how do you think you get me to invite you to Olean? So, that's it. Sell a lot of Cutco. 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 And then start saving that money, okay? So one of the ways, like, Leilani is making her case for me to take her to Olean because she's like, here's $600, right? I want to put that in my savings account. I'll start building for my branch office. People that are selling and saving and skilling up in the TLA are people that are going to earn stocks, okay? If you really want to be considered for TLA or for the Olean trip, you got to be at least at dirty 30 minimum, but I'd be thinking 15 or 20K for sure. So putting a blitz on before beginning of November when I take people there, okay? Winter break divisional event, I do a holiday party close to Christmas time, and then consistency, having good skills as a manager, sales, and then saving. So I have some ideas on here for those of you guys that want to become branch managers. I talk about the money given to the company for branches. How much money do district managers get when they open? They get $20,000 in company funds and advertising expenses that go for them, and then investment into your business. So if you want to be an assistant manager, I need you to have your emergency fund at all times. Like that needs to be there at all times, all AMs. It's required. You got to have $1,000 saved for sure. I want to make sure you're at least fiscally safe right there. Branch managers, how much do branch managers need to have saved? Anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000. But if you can do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000, you'll continue to go up in the rankings. So the Leadership Academy, you guys, I basically put everybody into a big matrix that gets like a ranking system. And I rank people based on sales. I rank people based on campaign sales, savings, like where they are in the office, X factor for that person. And then I give people a scoring, and those people, as they move those rankings up, get higher on my radar, get opportunities to get promoted to high-level AMs or branch managers or district managers later. Okay, so if you want to get a chance to become a district manager, some of you might be tracking towards that. A district manager needs to have somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000 saved before they go out, depending on the territory they go to. Some territories cost more to run a business than others. All right, so that's just the fact of the matter. If you turn to the next page, this has some information about the General Leadership Academy agenda. So what we will be doing, every single academy, they'll run a similar format, but content will always be different. There are several of you in this room, branch managers, assistant managers that went through TLA last year. The content this year will be different than last year, so it will be evolved and changed a bit. And for those of you that are going to go through TLA for the very first time, it's going to be all new stuff for you as well. So we're going to talk about recruiting skills. We're going to talk about sales management skills. We'll talk about personal growth skills, and there'll be a financial skill aspect to every single one of them. And then there'll be some assignments to get done from one academy to the next. Okay, and those assignments you will debrief to me either on email or to my assistant, and then she'll take care of all that stuff, make sure it's getting done, their assignments done, so they can continue to progress and learn while they're in the academy. Okay, so it says, what are you guys going to learn in the Leadership Academy? I have a lot of different topics on here, but we're going to do a lot of personal growth and leadership topics. Okay, so we'll do all the things that are going to help you become a better version of you. From things like energy management to morning routines. We'll talk about health and fitness. We'll talk about journaling, reading, expanding your capacity. We'll talk about 30-day challenges. We'll talk about all these different ways that you can move the needle for your life, okay, for your life, to get you better as an individual, okay? Financial skills, of course. So a lot of these topics that I kind of broached here, we'll do more of a deep dive into each and every single one on, like, how do you improve your credit, right? How do you get started in a savings account? Where do you actually put your money? So we'll do some stuff on that. You're also going to learn a lot of interview skills, okay? And you're going to learn different types of interviews that we do in our business, our personal recruiting programs, and then you're going to learn our sales management programs as well too. So you're going to learn how to PC, for example. You're going to learn how to PDI individuals, for example. Those of you that are tracking to be branch managers or district managers will learn how to do initial training and advanced trainings. You'll learn how to run effective team meetings and learn how to build culture and create a vision for your team. You'll do all those types of things, okay? Those of you that get invited into my TLA, I can effectively guarantee you a leadership position next summer. What that's going to be remains to be seen, right? It might be a full-time, like, selling assistant manager where you're going to field train the entire team and you want to sell $40,000, $50,000 next summer. That might be your role. Some of you might be playing a higher level assistant manager role where you're really involved in recruiting and sales management. Some of you might be an SM. Some of you might be the next DOM or a district manager, or you might be tracking towards becoming a big part of our events team, our FSM team, and our CSP team. Either way, it's open for all of those things. So here are the dates, okay, for the academies. So again, those of you that are going away to school, I will have an individual conversation with you guys about how to attend, okay, and how to be involved and how to be enrolled in all of this. But for those of you that are local, okay, the academies, we're basically going to get together as a leadership academy once a month. Okay, so if you think about it this way, for those of you that are in college in the fall and the springtime, it's kind of like taking like an additional class. It's like taking a leadership course at college, basically, but it's with Cutco. That's the way I would look at it. But it's once a month. It's not every single week or anything like that. It's just going to be once a month where you'll be learning with me and then completing those assignments. And they're not assignments that's going to take you a month to get them done or anything. So it's not overwhelming. I designed the TLA in mind because who we work with. Yes. So I put it in mind so it's not overwhelming. It's going to stretch you. It's going to make you grow, but it's not going to make you feel like, oh my gosh, I have to drop out of college to be part of the TLA. Like, that would not serve anybody's purpose. Okay. But the idea is that you can do it all. Okay. Our very first academy is going to be on September 8th. The next one will be on October 13th, November 20th, and then December 15th. Okay, so those are the first 4 dates that you can put in your calendar. For those of you that know you want to get a part of the TLA, after you interview with me, I'll be letting people know if they've been accepted. So you can mark your calendar for those dates. You already know that you're going to a wedding, you're out of town on a family thing, you got something going on. When we talk, we can talk about it. Okay, you can let me know that. The dates for January through April are TBD, okay, to be determined, depending on what our spring schedule is going to look like. But likely by October 1 or November 1, we'll have all the way throughout until next summer planned for you guys there, so you'll see that. And then if you look on the next page, and then I'll bring John up here. On the next page, it just has the SoCo calendar from basically now until April, roughly, with some dates in there for you guys to know about. So more things in August. I put on the last day of the summertime. Some of you in this room are competing for Summer Excellence Awards, COC trophies, those types of things. Where you're trying to win a K-bar or the Gold Oscar or the Eagle or the Shooting Star, whether it's at $15, $20, $25, $30,000 in sales for the summertime. So the last official day of the summertime is on the 27th, okay? So the 27th, which is a Monday, and then on the 28th starts the fall campaign. So everything starts from scratch. Some of you in here have thought about winning President's Club, okay? You want to get that by the 27th, and we start a new one on August 28th. We start the fall campaign. So you want to win the President's Club in the fall. Some of you have already mentioned to me about going after winning a scholarship in the fall. Okay, the new scholarship race, the All-American Scholarship Race, starts on the 28th. All right, so that's when you're going to start making your run at a scholarship. By the way, a scholarship in the fall usually takes somewhere between $20,000 to $22,000 in sales to win a scholarship in the fall as a full-time student, which is basically like $1,000 in sales a week, roughly, with a push period. Okay, so it's very doable to go after it, but it's about staying consistent. I have when COC Push starts on there for all of you. And then our Summer Excellence Awards are going to end on September 3rd, the first TLA. And then we have the Vegas event, Conference of Champions. Okay, how much do you have to sell to go to Vegas? $10K. All right, so it's going to be great. Now, I want everybody, of course, if you're over 10K, we're going to have our crew there. It's going to be great. But if you're under 10K, make a plan with your manager to hit that dirty 30 before, because we want you in Vegas. Vegas is amazing. It's great. It's fun. But it's also a great networking and learning opportunity for you guys too. And that conference is extra special, I think, just because it's the entire region gets together, right? The Hawaiians come out, the people from Alaska, from Washington, like the whole West Coast all comes to Vegas, and everybody flies in with their team. So it's pretty cool to have that happen. And that's for Conference of Champions, okay? Elite of the Elite. And then October, you can see TLA. Then I have Olean Push starts. The 2nd through the 3rd is when Olean is, when we go out to Olean and we go to Niagara Falls and we go meet the president and do all that kind of stuff, which is really, really cool. It's our Western Region Leadership Conference. And then I have the DM retreat on there and our TLA number 4 on there. Actually, guys, there might be a typo on there. I just realized. On the front page, it says on December 15th, it says TLA number 4. It's December 14th. Okay, the 15th is our DM retreat. So I apologize for that. And then all the rest of the dates are coming up. And then in March, you guys can see branch managers and district managers became an island trip. Okay, so the 3rd through the 9th is going to be great. We'll get tan, unlimited everything. It's positive. Okay, so you have a few dates in there. Now, I'm going to bring up John Roach. And I asked John to talk about how to prepare for your interview. Okay, so when this event ends, you guys all should have gotten a link from your manager, and I'm going to have you guys fill that out at the end of the meeting or whatever. Okay? And I'm going to come around and I'm going to interview essentially the room. Okay, and you're going to have a 20 to 30-minute interview with me. Okay, so John's going to tell you about how to prepare for that interview, what I expect, some of the questions that I'm going to answer, like how to show up that interview the right way. So during that interview, you guys want to nail it. Branch managers, I will be having a interview, so to speak, with you, which we'll be talking about what the next step is essentially for you. And assistant managers that are current assistant managers, I will also be having interviews with you as well too. But it's your opportunity to basically tell me and sell me on why you want to be a leader here and why I should consider you for the academy and why it's something that you want to be involved with that's just going to help you in the future. Is that cool? All right, so John Roach is the district manager in Carlsbad. I've been working with John for a long time. He's got a lot of experience in business. He'd be definitely a great guy. I'd ask a lot of questions too after the event as well. So please help me bring up John Roach. Thanks very much.
Sweet. I'm excited to talk to you guys. Let's do this really quick. Go ahead and high five the person to your right, and then high five the person to your left. Yeah, that worked out way better than I thought it was going to. But awesome. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about the interview itself and how to show up to the interview. And this is one of my favorite things because I love adding people to our leadership crew, and I think this is important as we develop our division into becoming eventually the #1 division of the entire company. We need great people to continue building our crew with. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about my experience really quick with the Intro to Leadership Academy, the TLA. I remember sitting in those seats, Hannah, and going, I don't even know what the hell's going on right now. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. My path was to be a math teacher. I wanted to coach football. And I sat in the room. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was like, I just thought we sold knives here. I didn't know you could advance within the company. I got promoted to be key staff. I didn't really know what that meant. But I remember sitting in this intro to TLA or management prep, whatever we called it back then. And maybe for some of you, I know I talked to some people on my team, and it started to click a little bit. You're like, oh, there's a lot more to this job than just selling knives for me. There's an opportunity to advance, an opportunity to kind of figure it out. And here's the reality, Taylor, I'll let you know. The rep job is really easy. It's super simple, right? You go, you sell knives, you smile, you cut rope, and it's a fun time. But the TLA and management, that's where you're going to grow these professional skills. That's what's going to help you get jobs later on, because that's what employers really care about, is the professional skills you're developing. Of course, as a sales representative, you're gaining a lot of skills, but I want to teach you guys how to get invited to this interview, right? So, first things first. You don't just get to be a part of the TLA because you are in this room. There's a couple things it takes. First, you have to have great attitude, right? Positivity, positive expectations. I love working with positive people. I know everyone loves working with positive people. It's also about attitude, right? It's all about attitude. You hear this in training, it's all about attitude. Sales leadership. I think it's important during the fall to be consistent every single week. Right? You don't have to put up $2,000, $3,000 a week, but can you put up at least 500 consistently? You put up 500 consistently each week of the fall, you're going to be selling anywhere from $9,000 to $10,000 in the fall, making 2 G's as a college student while going to school. I think that's a win, right? Even if you were at 0 right now, which none of you guys are. Bless you. Right? I think that's a positive thing. So being consistent. I also think this is huge. You've heard this on the group me nonstop. You've heard it a couple times. But get on Evan's radar, right? You want Evan to know your name. You want Evan to know your name. That will very simply make it a lot easier for you to get into the TLA and get excited. Now, I will reiterate again, being here doesn't mean you're committing to anything, right? It doesn't mean, Aaron, okay, I'm going to read the name tag. It doesn't mean that you're like, oh, I'm signing my life away. Sign it in blood. You have to be a manager. You got a DM, branch, all that stuff. Now you probably should. But it doesn't mean that you're committed to anything right now. Your manager invited you so you can get a little bit of a taste, right? So you can see what else is out there. Now it's your job, Madison, to go earn a spot, right? It's your job to earn a spot. And I'm really excited to give you guys some of the secret ninja tips on how to get invited to this. And I want to let you guys know how the interview works. So there's obviously 50 plus people in this room, and there's going to be other people that are getting interviewed for the TLA. So either Evan or your district manager will be interviewing you for this. And I'll let you know a week after, you'll know the decision. You'll know pretty quick. It's not like a 3-week thing where you're like, okay, well, did the TLA happen? What's going on? No, you'll know right away. You'll know about a week afterwards. So let's talk about the interview, right? So to be a part of the Leadership Academy, who's been through the Leadership Academy, by the way? Right? Good. I've been through effectively 10 of them. They get better every year. So let me tell you guys how to show up for your interview, because you need to take yourself seriously in order to make it happen. If you don't show up serious, your manager or Evan is not going to take you seriously either. So here's, as far as the interview goes, you have it'll be 20 to 30 minutes. First tip I have for you, so whatever I put on here, you should probably write down. First one is dress sharp AF, okay? You guys all know what that means. Dress sharp as fudge, right? Everyone likes good chocolate, right? So dress sharp. Guys, good tie, suit, the equivalent. whatever looks good. Ladies, you know the equivalent far better than I do. If you don't know, talk to your manager. They probably know. Next is bring a resume. Right? Bring a resume. Now, it doesn't have to look fancy for some of you. It might just have Cutco on it. You're like, I started selling Cutco in June, and it's August now. Here's what I've done so far. Just put it on there. It doesn't have to look fancy. Okay? Remember, this is an interview. So I want to treat it like you're interviewing for like your dream internship or your dream job. If you do that, you have a good chance to get into the TLA. Okay? Here's a big one. Is in order to get into the TLA, you got to be a saver, right? We want savers in our division. We want people who are smart with their money. This has been a reoccurring theme throughout the entire day, right? Leaders don't blow their paychecks, right? They don't get a fat paycheck and then go buy a nice flat screen TV. That would be called dumb, right? You don't need a big flat screen TV. You guys all have computers. You play Netflix off anyways. Okay? So save that money instead of dropping $400 or $500 on a pointless TV. Now, if you get a $3,000 paycheck, sure, go get it, but make sure you save $300 at least, right? So why do you want to save money, though? Is so you want to put yourself in the position, the job you want to receive, right? So if you want to be an assistant manager, train to be like an assistant manager. If you want to go and run a branch next summer, train as if you're running a branch next summer. If you want to be a district manager, you should train as if you want to be a district manager. And here's what it takes. I'll let you guys know, any management opportunity is going to take a little bit of money. You got to have a little skin in the game, right? I remember being 18, 19, 20, saving that money, and remember like writing checks, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That was my money. And I took it more seriously when it's your money. All right? Here's another thing. You have to know why you want to be there. Oh, actually, by the way, when it talks about bring a savings check, here's what it is, you guys. I didn't want to forget this part. If you want to even be like considered, or like, you know, for us to think about it, here's the reality, is $100 shows interest, right? It doesn't have to be a large sum, but $100 shows some interest, right? 500 shows that you're a little more serious. And if you want to get on Evan's radar right off the bat, bring a $1,000 check. Go like, yo, Evan, put that in my startup. That's huge. That's huge. You get on the radar for sure. And then the last thing is you got to know you have to know why you want to be here. You got to know why you want to be here. You want to know why you want to be a leader. You want to know why you want to be an assistant manager. You got to know the whys behind what you're doing. And if you don't know your why, talk to your manager. Right? I'm sure they can help you out with that. Let me give you, so here's some questions you want to know the answer to. Okay, some questions that you definitely want to know the answer to. Number one is Evan's going to ask you, your district manager is going to ask you, why do you want to be a leader? Right, so you should jot that one down. If you're not writing that down, you are failing at the game. I will let you know if you take a picture of the screen. All the questions will be on there in just a second. There's a couple more. Okay, second one is why should Evan accept you? So Evan's going to go, hey, Sarah, why should you be in the Leadership Academy? And you're going to have to give that reason why you should be in the academy. All right? Here's another question that Evan's going to ask is he's going to say, hey, how much CPO have you brought in since SC2? Now, some of you are going to have your Leadership Academy interview early next week. Just bring what you can to the table. Some of you, it's going to be in 2 weeks. So the later your interview is, the more CPO you're going to want to bring. And here's another one is he's going to ask you, how many demos do you have in front of you? The worst thing you want to do is say, I have 0. Right? So if you know your interview is coming up next Tuesday, on Monday, I'm making calls to book up Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Right? I'm making sure that I'm taking time to make that happen. These are some very simple questions that you guys need to know for your interview. Right? Some basic tips. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of tip for your interview. If you have more questions, I'll be at the beach. I'll be probably playing a little bit of dodgeball. Apparently, I'm going on a slip and slide, trying not to kill myself. That'll be fun. And I will definitely be scarfing down some tacos. So you can ask me, hey, John, how did you get invited to your Leadership Academy, etc. Now, guys, I'll let you know, you nail all these points, it's going to be a fun TLA. It'll be worth the professional advancement you guys get in the next year or so. It'll all be worth it. Your resumes will be stacked. And that's what I have for you guys. Awesome.
John. So, like I said, you might interview with one of your DM. There's a chance you might interview with me virtually if you're anyway at school or something like that, or you're watching this recording. But if I'm sitting down with you one-on-one, those are some great tips, obviously, and he's kind of softballing, right? Like I'm gonna ask you these questions for sure, and so you can prepare your answers a bit before I get there. Now, in terms of your startup and your savings account, okay, where does that money go? It just goes into basically a vector savings account. It's not one that Anthony had asked about, like growing interest and stuff like that, but it's just a holding account. But the reason why it's important is that way I get to see, I go, oh, Avery is very serious about doing this. Christian's really serious about saving. It might not even be for your office, because you might not actually get to realize that opportunity depending on your situation, but you get to show that you're a serious saver. How do you bring the money? There's a couple different ways you guys can do it, okay? You could do cash, you could do a check. If you do a check, you just make it to Cutco and Vector, and it goes right into under your rep number and your savings account there. Or you can Venmo your DM or something like that, and then they can send it in for you. Either way, it's okay. And then the cool part is, just so you guys know, when you do that, then you'll look on your commission accounts, because you guys know you can look at your commission checks every Thursday at like 2 p.m. or something like that right on your account. You'll actually see another little savings account that will crop up on them, right? So Romario, you show up with $1,000, okay, he's gonna see that right on there, like that money that you put in, so you'll be able to see it on there every single week. And obviously you want that to grow, right? So every time that you come to an academy, what should you try to do? Bring more, right? So just, hey, I want to continue to save. I want to continue to save. I want to continue to save. So that's what I do. Is that cool? All right. So as far as the interviews go, I'm going to give the DMs my schedule, and then the district managers will fill it in for you guys. So they'll let you know, and we'll work it out for you to make sure that you can sit down. Or if we're going to be doing a Zoom or like a FaceTime interview, then we'll make sure that we sort that out. All right. If you look at this sheet real quick, I'm going to quickly cover district manager. Many of you, I'm not going to go too deep because many of you in this room are farther away from DM, just because maybe your first, second year, third year of college. But some of you might just want to know, like, hey, how does Danica get paid? You know, that's important. How does Lindsay get paid? How does Bianca get paid in the office? But some of you might be closer to becoming a district manager. So if you are having an interest in this is not piques your interest, just make sure you have a conversation with me, because I want to know if you're a legitimate district manager candidate, then I want to have that conversation with you on what it would take to become a DM, all right? So this has responsibilities and position. Essentially what this is, you guys, I'm on page 9. Basically what a district manager is they're running, instead of having a branch office just for the summer, they're running a year-round office. That's the easiest way to look at the difference between the two. And instead of it being a summer job, it's now for many people, a first career, first job. I always learned when I became a district manager when I was 21, my division manager had said something to me and stuck with me. He said, hey, becoming a district manager is a great thing to do while you're figuring out what you want to do. Right? So you can be a DM for 2 or 3 years, learn how to run a business, save money, earn income, and then you'll have some experience of being an entrepreneur, and then maybe you're going to go off to do the next thing. Now I just stayed, right? How do you get promoted to division manager? You just succeed as a district manager for a long time, right? So it's basically the same thing. So when you do this, if you look at the next page here, the district manager pay program is on the back. So this is how DMs get paid. DMs get paid 35% of anything that they sell personally, okay? They get a promotion bonus of $15,000 basically when they turn the key to their office. So they get that money from the company to support them when they open up. So it's nice to get a signing bonus. And then they also get a recruiting rebate. So anytime they have a new person start from training, they get $25, right? So if they had 10 people start from training, that would be what? $250 extra that they would get for that week. And that essentially covers like supplies. And I look at like blue books and broken leather and stuff like that. That's why I always look at it. Office overrides, they get paid the same way that a branch does, okay? In the sense that 25% of a new trainee, all the way down to FSMs or CSPs, they make 5% of anything that they sell, okay? And then they also get the opportunity to get a monthly bonus, okay? So they have a lot of stuff that branch managers don't get. So in the fall campaign, it's doubled for new DMs. So a monthly bonus can be as small as $400 extra bonus for the month to upwards of $10,000 or more in one monthly bonus paycheck. Okay? So that's nice to get. They can also qualify to get campaign bonuses. How many campaigns do we have? We have 3 campaigns, okay? So those campaign bonuses, the smallest campaign bonus they can get is $3,000 all the way up to $10,000, right? So performing district manager, if they hit the campaign bonus for each campaign, they can get $10,000 each campaign, which is nice. So most district managers, what do they use those campaign bonuses for? Those are like long-term savings, right? So they can just tuck that money away. They also get catalog bonus of $1,000 to $5,000. What's cool is our district managers, they're responsible for a territory, like Lindsay runs Temecula, or Bianca runs Las Vegas, or Melissa runs Henderson area, right? So they also, when there's customers that order Cutco online through the e-commerce site, district managers also get paid a small percentage off that too. So as they sell more in that area, more customers buy more Cutco. DMs also get money off that as well. They get a holiday bonus of $300 to $1,000. They also get pace bonus after they've been open for 8 months. Then they just, what's cool is my DMs, they automatically get a $12,000 raise in their first year on the job, in their first full year. So when James and Lindsay go into January next year, the company automatically will just give them $12,000 more a year, so they start getting a pace bonus. So for a lot of them, it'll like cover their monthly rent or something like that. Okay, so it's a cool way for them to look at that, or they can save it, whatever they want. When they promote branch managers, they get a chance to make 5% of any branch manager that they promote of their total sales, right? If a branch office sells $200,000 to the branch office, what's 5% of that? $10,000 bucks, right? So that'd be an extra bonus that a DM would get. If a branch manager has, excuse me, if a district manager promotes 2 branches or 3 branches or 4 or 5 branches at the same time, it can get pretty exciting for them. When a district manager promotes a district manager, they get $13,000. They get 5 in May, 5 in November, and then they get 3 in the following September. And then they also get super bonus every 3 years, okay, which is pretty cool. And the super bonus minimum is at $10,000. The highest super bonus they can earn is a $100,000 one-time bonus. Very positive, okay? Other perks and profit sharing incentives are available as well too. They get money off coffee, and it's just cool. I think there's 14 or 15 different ways that the DM gets paid. It's awesome. Is that cool? Questions? Yeah.
With the base bonus,
Yeah.
so it's launch 5 reps a month.
Yeah.
They just have to hire 5 new reps.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they basically have to brief. They're going to be live, you know. Their office is going to do that. Cool? Is that cool? All right. So I just want you guys to have that. So before I bring Danica up, I'm going to give you guys this this questionnaire. And this questionnaire, let me see what I got next here. Okay, these questionnaires, you guys, it is front and back. It shouldn't take you too long to fill it out. But once you get done listening to Danica and kind of absorbing her message, I just would like for you guys to fill this out, and then we'll exit back the same way, which is totally fine. Is this all table there? Yep. Okay, cool. So when you guys leave, if you can just stack all your questionnaires right on the table, that's totally fine, okay? And once you get done with that, that's good, okay? I encourage you guys to get on my radar in a big way, right? I think I've made it clear. Selling and saving is a great way to get on my radar. How you do in your interview is a great way to get on my radar. How you perform. And a lot of it is just my conversations with your district manager, right? Like they really let you know what's going on the ground level in the office. So working hard, being a contributing member of your team is another way that you can increase your stock, increase the way you are on my radar, okay? To mention this to you guys, Conference of Champions, I mentioned in Vegas. I just want to let you guys know that's the time. It's a 14th and 15th. It's a Friday, Saturday. We run it on the weekend so students can go. Those of you that are going to school in the fall, you want to know that date, because if you do have classes on Friday, go talk to your professor, go get some office hours with them, get that cleared, and make sure that you work that out, okay? So the event starts on Friday, like early afternoon. So most of us in South Coast, we just drive. We just carpool up early in the morning and drive to Vegas, and this time Vegas doesn't have to come to us. We can do that, which I know it's not always the case, all right? So I appreciate that. And I always appreciate you guys making the drive, of course. So anyway, that's when that is. Here's the push dates, is the 28th through the 14th. So some of you didn't have the SC2 that you wanted. Okay. Here's another push period. So there's another opportunity for you there too. Those of you guys that are going away to school and you might not be as active selling Cutco potentially, still drop some orders during that time. Do some virtuals if you can. Get those last minute if I need it. Let's just keep sprinkling, because that's still going to help your squad. It's going to help our divisional push. It's going to help your personal sales as well. Here are some trophy standings. I know it might be a little hard to see. We have a lot of South Coast representation and our top 5 veteran representatives to make some moves. Our top 10 new representatives here is no, this doesn't include what was sold in the previous week, okay, so it's not the most current report. We have some people that have a chance to make some moves. If any of you in this room are close to $15,000 in sales for the summertime, that's when you get the Rising Star Award. And some of you are close to 20,000, right? Like Nick, if you're very close to that, so you can get I believe that's the Eagle. Is that right? That's the Eagle. And then 25,000 is the Oscar, and then 30,000 is the K-Bar, right? So you can make some moves in that time to really get some trophies and get some hardware in Vegas too. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so I'm going to give these, I'm going to pass these out, and then I'll bring Danica up. So if you guys want to just get these going around the room, this will be for this side, and these will be for you guys. And it is a front to back. So when you get done listening to Danica, I'll come up and kind of end it, and then you can turn those in on the way out. And then there will be the address for the spot where we're going to be going will be up on the screen, okay? And then John Roach, who just spoke, is going there early to get our spot and our area to kind of like set up. So we'll have games, and we'll do, like I said, we'll do the kickball and the slip and slide, stuff like that. If you want to just come and just hang and get tacos and stuff like that, just chill out, it's fine. But it's kind of, look at it this way, it's kind of like a payoff and kind of celebrate the end of the summertime and celebrate with our leaders. The taco truck, we'll have plenty. Okay, yes. We'll have plenty of items for you to eat, and it's good. It's good. You guys are going to really enjoy it. And make sure you guys get a chance at the hang time. Just make sure you get a chance to meet everybody. We're going to be right on the bay in the water, so you can hang by the sand. You can go swimming if you want to, the whole nine. And we're going to have that area until around like 6:30 or 7. You can hang as late as you want to. Totally cool before you guys go back to your local areas. All right. So. To wrap up the meeting today, I'm going to have Danica Grady end it for us today. And I asked Danica to talk about her district manager dream and what she's building in South San Diego. And some of you might know Danica's background and story, but I've had the privilege and pleasure of working with Danica for a while now. She actually started in the East San Diego district office with Matt Boland. And Matt Boland is a past district manager, worked with our company. Awesome guy, awesome leader, and really helped Danica start her path and got her into the Leadership Academy. And I should say Danica got herself in the Leadership Academy, but Matt Boland helped her along the way and taught her the initial skills. And then I ended up getting a chance to work with Danica, and she came to work with me in the pilot office in San Diego. She's a graduate of Bennington College. She's awesome. She's amazing. And I really enjoy working with her as a leader. She worked as an assistant manager, of course, and then before she went out to become a district manager, she held the DOM role for a year, and she trained under me, with me in the pilot office to run the San Diego office. We had a fantastic year, and she did really great things and gave me a lot of confidence that she would be a successful district manager. She opened up her office just a little over a year ago. She was the #1 new district manager and was the #1 in new business, I believe, for her first year open, and beat all the other district managers in the room in new business sales, which was a great indicator for her initial success. And then this year, she's doing the same exact thing. So she's starting this nice trend. So, and plus, I just know what's going on in South San Diego. Ashley obviously is a product of that office. And I know there's a lot of special people in South San Diego that Danica is super pumped to work with. And I'm excited for her to build her district dream. So she's going to talk to you guys a little bit about that to wrap up the meeting. South San Diego District Manager, Danica Grady.
Okay, so actually, the first part of my talk was actually telling you a little bit about my story. So thank you, Evan, for already prefacing that. So just really quickly, a little bit of background information about me. Just like Evan said, I did start about 5 years ago. Raise your hand if you already know at some point in your life you'd like to run a business, or you're thinking about running a business, or it was just a thought in your head at one point. Awesome. Every single one of you just raised your hand is ahead of where I was after my first summer. I went to Bennington College, which is a little liberal arts school in southern Vermont. I studied English literature, French, and ceramics, all very useful things for the world I know. Now I run a business, so go biggs. I had zero desire or ambition to run a business, be a CEO, do anything relating to business or econ or finance or anything. I had zero desire or ambition to do any of those things. I wanted to be an editor. I wanted to write a novel. I wanted to read books for a living and write the next best-selling novel after that once I was done. And this, by the way, has been my dream since I was 8 years old and did my first creative writing project when I was in elementary school. So, no business whatsoever. Then I graduated high school, went to college, realized things cost money, and I realized I didn't know how to write yet either. So, I got a job. I got several jobs. I got boring jobs. My first real job was right here in this very hotel, actually. So I think it's kind of cool. I worked here in the hotel, and I'm not sure if I know a lot of you had jobs before this, but to be quite honest, we know we've talked a lot about like our opportunity to make money here. I really hate being told what to do. I really hate being told how much I'm worth. And this hotel, actually, like, I really loved working here, to be quite honest with you, but it wasn't allowing me to live up to the potential that I know that I had. I actually overheard one of the managers talk to the financial guy, and they were like, "Oh, we're so happy you hired Danica. She does such great work for us. She does twice the work in half the time." Yeah, saves us a whole lot of money. It's not awesome to hear, right? Like, they were paying me half as much for twice the work. I was like, well, this sucks. And then I got a letter in the mail, and the base pay was $17 back when I started, and I was like, cool, whatever, let's go, let's try it. So I started working with Vector. 2 weeks in, I got promoted to key staff and decided that this was what I wanted to do. I was more excited about it. It was more flexible. It was more challenging. It was more lucrative for sure. And so I put in my 2 weeks notice, and they were just like, all right, well, you can just leave now. And I was like, cool. Then I went to go work for Vector forever. Now, even my first summer, I'm really competitive, as I'm sure a lot of you know. My first summer, I decided I was going to be the #1 representative in my office. I did that. And then I did it again the next summer that I was home, and the next summer as well. But I didn't really have any ambition to run my own office at that point either. I was just like, okay, cool. I want to like take advantage of the opportunities that exist, take advantage of the competition, et cetera, et cetera. 2 years I went through the company like this. Actually, I have pictures. That was me a month before I started, right there. 2 years I went through the company like that. That was me in my old office right there. And I started teaching, and I started working with newer representatives, and I started taking people field training. And I realized that selling Cutco was fun. Selling Cutco was exciting. Selling Cutco was exciting. Talking to customers was exciting. But working with representatives, working with people, working with young people like you guys was fulfillment. Selling a homemaker was exciting, but helping somebody be a leader, helping somebody sell a homemaker set was fulfillment for me. So I started asking questions and learning everything I possibly could about being a manager. Went through the Leadership Academy, became an assistant manager, became a sales manager for Evan, became a Dom like Armando is right now, in order to put myself in a position of choice so that there was no other option but for Evan to promote me to district manager. The other thing that I did, by the way, is I saved a lot. I saved everything. Basically, eventually what happened was right before I went out to become a district manager to get that promotion, I had put myself in a position of choice. I had worked for Evan, and we had a great summer. We had a great year, and I had saved about $23,000 at that point to put towards my district office. 3 zeros, 23,000. You should do that. And I was one of the top district managers, if not the top district manager candidates in the division. So basically when the time came to like get my territory, instead of Evan coming to me and being like, here's your territory, I basically went to him and was like, this is what I want. And I want South San Diego, which is a great territory with great people. So it was really exciting. Which was exciting. So it had been a really incredible experience for me to go through that process and to be a district manager for the past 4 years. And basically what it's boiled down to is 4 things. What does being a district manager mean to me? It boils down to 4 things. First is influence. Being a district manager to me is influence. As a representative, I had influence over myself and my customers. It was powerful and exciting, but it was limited. One of my passions in life is making a difference for everybody that I possibly can in the most positive way possible. So I care about people. I don't care who they are, or what their parents do, or what zip code they live in, or what color their skin is, or who they love, or whatever. I care about people, and I want to help make a difference in their lives. And being a district manager has allowed me to make a difference in so many people's lives. Every single person who walks into my door, I get the opportunity to teach them something. I get the opportunity to go out and make a difference in their lives, and then they get to take those experiences and those teachings and those lessons and go influence other people. And those ripples started because they came through my door. So I'm changing the world, one high school graduate at a time. These are great people. I love them all. Every single person who I get a chance to work with, I remember. I remember them all, and I love them. They're like my children. They're my family. I get such a great opportunity to influence and experience life with these great young people and work with them and help them become the best versions of themselves. Being a district manager to me means influence, and that means fulfillment for me. Being a district manager to me means freedom. Freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want. Being a district manager to me means freedom of schedule, means freedom of choice, means freedom to do whatever I want and connect with people that I care about and not have to worry about anything else. That's my little brother, right there. He's out in Hawaii. I haven't seen him in like a year, but when he's home one day every single year, I make sure that my office is covered so I can take the day off to go spend time with him. That's my dad. I love my dad. My dad is actually really sick right now. One of the reasons I got this job is so that I could help take care of him. And as a district manager, I have the freedom to be able to do that, to support my family. This is my best friend. She and I we're roommates. This was us in our very first apartment. Being a district manager means freedom of being able to be independent like that. Look at my cats. I love them. I have freedom to have 3 cats, and I love that too. I have freedom. This is me and Melissa. We were in Berlin for 4 days before we went to Munich this year. I'm going to talk about that more in a second. We had freedom to be able to just be like, peace out. You guys have the office for the week. I'm going to go have some fun in Berlin with another district manager. I have freedom of choice. I have freedom of schedule. I have freedom of income and independence, and that makes me really happy. Being a district manager for me means fun. Heck yeah, it means fun. I love to travel. I love to do fun things all the time. And being a district manager for me means that I get to go and do those things all the time. This company is so nice. They are so nice to us. When we do well, when we work hard, when we do our jobs, they reward us for it. So just to kind of give you an example here, that's me and one of my branch manager friends in Costa Rica last year. That was a fun trip. Yeah. That's Puerto Vallarta this February. That was also a fun trip. That's me and Lindsay in Niagara Falls because that was a fun trip too. By the way, I haven't paid for any of these things that I've talked about so far. This is me at the BMW factory in Munich this year. That was really exciting. This was Cancun 2 years ago. We're on a boat. This was one of my favorites. I'm not sure if you recognize this person right here. Kind of looks like Bruno Mars. It's Armando. That's us in Albany in 2014, I think, something like that. 2015? I don't remember. It was a while ago. It doesn't even look like you anymore. Yeah. Being a district manager means fun for me because I get to do great things, awesome things, fun things with the people that I love all the time. Plus, every time I go to the office, we have a great time. Right? I'm not one of those kinds of people to like go in and dread going into work every day. I have fun. Like, do you see? Wait, no, hold on. This one's important. Oh my God. Sorry. This one? That's Christina swimming in giant Uno cards because that's just what we do at my office. I have so much fun with my people all the time, and I have so much fun with people that I care about. This is us in Mexico, by the way, Evan. Never takes a serious picture ever. All right, being a district manager means fun. Seriously, I have so much fun at this job. And the fourth thing that being a district manager means to me, being a district manager means that I make bank.
Oh, money.
Period. We got paid 16 different ways for Sunday. I don't even understand half of it. I think it's just show up in my bank account. I'm just like, that's cool. Like, that's awesome. I love my job, and I have the freedom to choose how hard I work. I have the choice to decide what I want to make this year just by doing my job. And my company rewards me for doing those things. And that's really exciting. That's a really exciting prospect. It's a really exciting opportunity. Oh, did Evan mention before that they give us a car also? Yeah, I'm really excited for that one. I get mine in January. I drive a truck right now. It's like a boat. And the gas is insane. So I'm stoked for my BMW. Heck yeah. Being a district manager means influence. Being a district manager means freedom. Being a district manager means fun. And of course, making bank helps all of those things. That's really important. All of these kinds of things add up to the kind of lifestyle that's the real draw for the district manager opportunity for me. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm building a staff. I'm building a team. I'm building a squad. My powerhouse is going to be really strong, right? For a lot of different reasons. I'm building a squad so that they can go out and be the best versions of themselves for whatever they want to do in the future. I'm building a squad so that they can become leaders themselves. And yeah, I'm for sure building a squad so that in October, I can be like, peace out, I'm going to France for a week.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, I am doing. Yes. Right, that's why I'm building a squad like that. I have influence to produce new leaders for the world, freedom to do things that I love, and the income to have as much fun as I possibly can with that freedom. To be honest with you guys, I'm not sure if I'm going to be a district manager forever. But for right now, you can be dang sure that I'm living my dream. Thank you.